Okay. This time, this time I can see my audio going out and it looks like it's peaking, but at least it's working. So I'll mess with the audio volumes here in a bit. So testing audio, trying not to hit the red, testing audio. Okay, that's better. We can drop this music a little bit. Okay, I think this time, this time it should be okay. Oh, that's so embarrassing. What's up, everyone? So okay, I'm a bit of a cheapo, and I didn't want to pay for OBS Studio and Streamlabs because I wanted to like keep my Twitch profiles. So I was like, you know what? Let me just install the other one. So I have Streamlabs for one platform and OBS for the other platform, and I didn't configure anything because I was like, oh, all of my stuff transferred. All of my stuff did not transfer. So what's up? Um, Today is gonna be a super easy peasy day. I'm just gonna be casually taking some stock, seeing what needs to be printed for some Vital Pets, and then we'll be assembling some stuff in the background. It's gonna be really chill. Um, I wanted to play around with YouTube. I also don't know like the rules to YouTube or what goes on. So if there's like things that I'm not allowed to do or some best practices, feel free to let me know. Because I don't normally interact with like YouTube streams. Usually, if I do, and if I'm watching a live stream, it's just like a premiere or something, and I don't really watch the chat. Or for the Pokemon Unite players, like I watch Sprinkles, but I don't talk to the chat or anything like that. So let me know if I need to do something or if I'm forgetting something else or whatever. Um, Let me package this up as well. But yeah, what is up? Happy Friday, everybody. Um, I've also thought a lot about like what I want to do on YouTube. So I think like most of the YouTube stuff is just going to be like these types of things. Yeah, I mean everything I'm playing is basically copywritten. So um if I get struck down, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. Um but I would rather have fun with you guys and not hate myself and sit with no music. So I would rather just we keep the music on, and you know if this video gets taken down, well I'll learn from next time or whatever, or I'll go back to Twitch or something. But yeah, Twitch is still gonna be like where we play video games. So like when Tony and I play like Wizard with a Gun, or when I'm playing Valorant or Final Fantasy 14 or something like that, we'll go back to Twitch. But for here, I want to do all of like the Veek designs related things. So working on Vital Pets, doing some Pico stuff, some Q&A, and my Pico's actually hungry right now, because I can see the little light go off. But things like that. I guess you guys can see my little duder eat his food. But yeah, so like stuff with like the Pico Nav and stuff with the Vital Pets, future other stuff. Music is a red flag, it'll get you DMCA'd. Yeah, but like how? So I would imagine YouTube's like thing is probably way worse, right? Because they like own all of the music and they have algorithms. Because like on Twitch, if you get DMCA'd, they just cut your VODs. Like your VODs are muted and that's it. Is it like a huge problem on YouTube? Like does something bad happen to my channel, or does it just does it do this? Does it do like a Twitch thing and it just like mutes my VOD? Do we need to get copyright free music now to stream here? And seriously, like, let me know. Like, if this is a no-go, like, please tell me. I'm gonna move my mouse though. This is totally random. Probably every, like, 2 months, I go on this, like, fevered craze to try to create the perfect mouse. And I think I'm back on that craze again. I've, like, dissected this Razer Orochi V2, like, 5 times. I've installed silent switches. I used to have a wireless charger on here that I put. I had like a wireless charger module, like a separate PCB that I would put on my wireless charger. I eventually used it for a whatchamacallit. I used it for a Raspberry Pi like Linux machine. Um, this thing has gone through so many modifications. So, oh yeah, and I at one point I took out the battery. Like I took out this whole section, and then I just I had a the wireless charger with a lithium-ion battery just like put inside. But I think this solution is probably gonna work better in the future. I don't get money from the video. I don't get money from any video on YouTube, so it's fine. Like if I That's okay then. Maybe one day, if I am consistent and I stream more, which I clearly do not, then we can look into that. But for now, I don't think that's a problem. But thank you for telling me. But yeah, today is just, it's gonna be the same old packing and shipping. If you guys have, I know some of you have hung out with me on Twitch, it's basically gonna be the same thing with that. Um, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but I think in the next, probably in the next, we'll say like 2-3 weeks, I'll be doing some more like PicoNav related things on this channel too. Not just on the like actual scripted videos and like outlines and that type of stuff, but like my live streams will also have PicoNav stuff. So during those, I plan on doing more, more like content. Nah, I don't say content creation because that sounds misleading. But to let you guys know where the PicoNav is right now in terms of like build and process, most of the actual built-in systems are complete. There's a couple of things, if you guys have followed me or like, you know, follow this project on Discord and stuff, you know that there's a few things that aren't entirely working. But like, I just finished the deck editor today, so you can choose between like 3 different decks. You can like select them, you can go back, you can equip new decks. And if you go in here, you can see all, actually let's go to deck 3 because there's actually like interesting cards in deck 3. But here, like there's different cards and abilities. If you wonder like what the heck does this ability do, you can press and hold a button and it tells you what it does. If you want to swap it out, you can click on that card and then you can choose different cards and abilities again. And if you wonder what it does, you can do the same thing. So this is all like well and dandy. That's all working. The mood system and the hunger system's all working. Venture is what I need to do next. That's actually what I'm doing tomorrow. The shop, I need to actually fill with content, but technically the shop works. The wardrobe is fully up and running, so I showed this off earlier. Whoops. Sorry, I'm making it really quick. When I do my actual video, I'm going to go through like a truly scripted video where I talk about... Actually, let's do the Sword and Shield guy. But yeah, you can... Same thing, you can like go through and you can pick different things. So if you want a TV head with a Sword and Shield, you can have TV head guy with Sword and Shield. But I like my cat ears because it's silly. So we're just going to go back to that. And then select this guy. But yeah, when I do the actual video, it's going to be a whole scripted video where, you know, like in this section we're going to discuss blah, and this, you know, this item will react like with this, and notice blah. Like it's going to be a very if you've ever watched like a tutorial video, so to speak, or like a game development video or something, where they show off different features and that's like a 1-minute blurb, I'll do kind of like one of those and it'll be compiled into like a giant 15-minute video. But it's going to be very in-depth and it's going to be incredibly carefully, meticulously thought out on the things that I say and the things that I show, so that way I can convey everything that this product is and is not. So yeah. So the PicoNav is not... Okay, this is the thing that I'm going to tell everybody, and I've said it before and I'll keep saying it a million times. This is not like a Digimon V-Pet whatsoever. It's closer to a mini like pocket RPG or like a pocket, I don't want to say dungeon crawler, but almost like a roguelike. So you have your one character, and your character you can customize with 200 individual items, and you can put them in any combination that you want. And you also get 3 different wardrobes and 3 different decks, but your one Pico is your one Pico. There's no evolution in there whatsoever. It's going to be more about like stats. The battle system is going to be a very simplified version of somewhere between the Pokemon video games and Magic the Gathering. I know that's kind of a weird mix to say, and as you can tell by like the UI, I made it in such a way that you can view everything at a glance. So it's not going to like overwhelm you with information once you understand what you're looking at, but everything has to be done in such a small, condensed manner, and the philosophy behind this thing is to have bite-sized battles. If you've ever played Magic and you know the feeling of a 2-card combo and you really enjoyed that feeling, or if you've ever played the Pokemon video games and you've done like a setup move that landed into a sweep, so it's something like, you know, like a Swords Dance or a substitute into a move, like those kind of 1-2 combinations, you'll get to experiment with a bunch of those with 100 different cards, and none of them are strictly better than the others. And the idea is as you kind of go through these dungeons, you well these like idle dungeons, you'll eventually get loot and items and new cards and new things to try out. The enemies will get harder. You have to worry about buffs between like what's equipped on your character and what the mood of your Pico is. You know, if you fed him well, if he slept well, that type of thing. The longer you play, the more pissed off it gets. So you have to kind of manage how much you want to go in versus how much you want to try to get your status buffs, like that kind of thing. It's not going to be about evolving and creating a tree and collecting all of the these different monsters and stuff. It's going to be about your one guy and customizing your one guy and collecting as much loot as you possibly can. Um, does he emote for needs and stuff? Yeah. So it actually it emotes for needs, and then there's also an LED that goes off, and the LED signals different things. So earlier, and I guess I could show it right now, but I already fed the guy, and if I wanted to reprogram it, I guess I could, and I could force it. But you'll notice that whenever it gets tired, you'll see a pulsing purple light, a pulsing orange light whenever it gets hungry. Whenever an event happens, like you've successfully gone through your dungeon and you're about to hit an encounter, um, things like that, you'll see it kind of glow on like a rainbow. I can actually show you the rainbow because you can also go to settings and you can change it. It's also worth noting too that if you well, hang on, let me go back. If you press and hold both buttons, you enter do not disturb mode, and then that'll turn off all LEDs. So if you don't want it, maybe you're in a meeting or something, it's just a very easy way. You can also permanently disable it in settings. You can also change um, you can also change a bunch of other stuff in settings too, like your backlight, your LED. So like right now, low, medium, high. But this is like your all like this is your notification system. So when something happens, oh, you can also turn it off. So all of those things are going to be built in. So like when it's just sitting on your desk, you'll be able to see like, oh, okay, something's happening. Um, Pico summons Pot of Greed. Yeah. Do you get to name your guy? I've gone back and forth about this. I really like the idea of naming your Pico. The problem or the fear that I have is profanity. And currently, I'm going to tell you guys right now, because this is a one-man project, the scope of this project is very focused. There are a lot of things in this project that I'm straight up not doing because it takes too much time, too much resources, or both. I have a very specific project plan that's laid out. I have a project management software that I use to allocate my time to make sure that things are moving accordingly. And again, I'm one person, so I don't want to promise everybody the world. This project is very focused, and one of the things that everyone's asked me about is multiplayer. And I've always just said it's not planned, but if I ever get spare time, I'll happily work on it. But it is not planned, and it is not going to be in the base game, and it's not promised, and it's not happening. But I always think like, how cool would it be if you're just on the main screen over here, and it just has the name of your duder, and it just says Dave or whatever. My Discord has named my Pico specifically Dave, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have your little like name over there too. But there's no like functional use for the name, so I mean maybe if you guys want it and there's enough interest in that, we can. One of the other parts too is when I do what I'm calling the deep dive video, where I talk about all the features and the flow of the game and how it operates. I'm also going to be taking beta testers, and those beta testers are true beta testers. Like I want them to try it out. I'm getting people of different backgrounds and experiences to tell me what they like, what they don't like, what needs improvement and fixes before we eventually go into a full launch. So we'll see. I'm very open to change. This project is going to be updatable and open source. The whole thing is built on the ESP32, which is this little board over here. And these are basically Arduinos or little microcontrollers, and they are very easy to flash new firmware to upgrade to mod. I'm making a tool that you can use to download later firmwares that I have or that the community has or that even you make. So maybe you have like a color palette swap because the fun fact, the four colors that I use here are not permanent. You can actually change the four colors. So like that kind of like pink and the light cream and the dark blue. If you don't like those colors, you can change them and you can use that software, which I'm calling the PicoNav update tool or the Peanut. You can use that and then you can change your colors. You can take the project files and then download them from my GitHub to apply updates automatically. You literally just plug in the PicoNav and then it'll detect it and you just run it. Um, or if you have your own project files that you want to make, you want to mod your own, then yeah, you can do that too if you know how to code and program Arduinos. Um, All hail Dave. I hate that you guys have called him Dave. I hate it. And it's so funny because like my friends and family, they know what this thing is, but they don't know about like the whole Dave meme. So whenever I call it Dave, or I like jokingly call it Dave, all of my friends and family are like, "Ew, Dave, that's such an ugly name. Why would you call it Dave?" And I'm like, "It's not. I mean, it kind of is me, but it's not." Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the Peak Nav coming up very soon. I'm gonna I'm I'm gonna keep saying this again. I love this thing and I'm very excited for this thing, but I acknowledge that it's not going to be for everyone. Like some people who like me and what I do are going to look at this, they're going to look at the gameplay systems and think, "Oh, that's totally not an experience that I would like." And that's okay. That's totally fine. There is no poop to clean. I find cleaning poop super annoying. I hate it. So that's not there. The big things that you're gonna have to worry about is when it comes to the care of your Pico is a little more passive in that when you think about like caring for a traditional VPET, you have to worry about like training it up and then you have to worry about feeding it, putting it to sleep, and then cleaning up its poop, it can die, that type of thing. This is a little bit closer to a VB where it's slightly more passive in what you have to manage. Like you still have to feed it, you still have to put it to sleep, but then there's a mood factor as well. And a lot of the questions that you're going to be asking yourself and the management that you're going to have to do is going to be about preparing for your next battle. So when you go into these dungeons, it costs you stamina to get in, similar to like how a mobile game will do. Like when you would go into a mobile game and there's like an energy system and you have to pay energy to like play a level. Basically similar to that, you use stamina to go in and there's gonna be a timer that goes for like 15 minutes. So your guy's gonna like walk through this dungeon, and then it's basically an idle game for like 15 minutes. You might get a mini game in the future. You might find random extra like chests and items and stuff. But at the end of it, there's a battle, and at that battle, again, it's gonna be kind of that like somewhere between a Pokemon battle and a Magic the Gathering battle type of thing. But a huge factor into these battles, especially as you get into some of the later things and one of the bonus modes that I have after the main game, you're gonna have to start managing your mood and your status buffs. There are these items in the game called gems, which affect your stats directly. So you can equip up to 3 of them. They give you a 10% boost. So you can have like an attack gem and it gives you plus 10% attack. You can stack 3 of them for 130% attack, or a defense or a speed gem or whatever. Whenever you die, you lose one, and they're incredibly expensive. So buying them back is gonna cost you quite a bit, and you're gonna feel it. So death is going to be a pretty consequential thing. Um, but also, the longer you venture, the more your mood will decrease. And when your pet's mood decreases, you start losing some of your attack and defense buffs as well. So the mood is a volatile stat. It'll go up and down a lot. But at 50%, you're completely neutral. So you're at 1 times attack, 1 times defense. At 70%, it'll be like 1.1. At 90% above, it'll be 1.2 and that type of thing. But if you get KO'd or if you venture the dungeon too long, your mood will drop, and as it drops, your attack and defense will go lower. So it'll go to like 75% or so on and so forth. So then to increase that, you get out of a dungeon, and then when you're out of a dungeon, your mood will come back up. Um, and that type of thing. So you're gonna be managing like, oh, what kind of stat buffs do I have active? And kind of like in Pokemon, you can use like an X attack or like an X defense that they last for a little bit. So you get like that type of stuff. Um, it is a little similar to Mega Man in a bit of a way. There's a lot. So Mega Man Battle Network in particular is one of my favorite series of all times. For the people that don't know, I've made a Mega Man Battle Network type game. My very first game I've ever built was an online, basically a PvP style Mega Man Battle Network with a bunch of extra like fighting game mechanics taken from like Guilty Gear and Smash Brothers and stuff. Um, but this is going to be it's battle oriented, and you're going to be planning out like, oh, okay, well, I got wiped from the last guy, so in order to prepare for that, I need to max out my mood. I need to give myself a couple of extra gems to buff myself in this particular way. Maybe use some of the temporary stat buffing items to give myself a boost for the next like 30 minutes or something. And then I'll be doing like 2 times damage instead of like 1.2 or whatever. Um, or if you want to tank hits because you want to go for like a long session throughout the day and you want to keep adventuring, well, your health stat doesn't reset after every battle, so you have HP up top over here, so you can see my little guy's HP. So right now it's at max, and if I go hit the B button, So you can see all my stats here. If I hit the B button again, I've got 15 out of 15. I've got no gems, and I'm at level 1 with no experience because I'm debugging some stuff. But um, because your health is limited, you obviously have like you get health potions and stuff. Those are also limited. You have money that you can use to go into the shop and buy that you get from winning battles. But if you have a higher defense stat or if you play a health regen type of build, you can in battle maintain your health and then kind of go for the long run. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do to manage it, but you're going to be thinking about that on like a battle aspect. And then potentially a farming aspect too. You might have a couple of days where you're low on resources and you go back to some lower level dungeons and you'll farm that to get more food, to get more potions. Death is not permanent in here, but death will cost you one of your gems. So those 3 gem slots, you'll lose one at random. It's very expensive, and the only way to get another gem is to buy them back with money in the shop. You get money by winning battles. Um, I'm not gonna make money a super like expendable resource. I want you to think about how you spend your money. So getting KO'd is going to be a relatively big deal. And then also you'll probably be penalized for KOs. So if you get knocked out for a while, you have to use a med kit to revive your guy. And if not, you might just be out of commission for like 2 or 3 hours. Um, all of this, by the way, is subject to change based on community feedback. So whenever we beta test, again, I'm having people of different backgrounds. So people that have never touched a Digimon thing or a Tamagotchi or whatever. I've had people who have had experience in one of them or both. I've had people who have experience in like serious hardcore games, casual games, people who aren't even gamers at all. I'll be taking applications as well, so I want to hear more from other people so I can get an idea of what works and what doesn't. And while I don't want to cater to everybody, so to speak, because I know this is a very like niche product, and it's honestly even more niche than normal because while everyone typically loves a VPET, this is not a normal VPET. So I just want to I want to gather as much data as much as I possibly can from different avenues and then, do what I want with it, so to speak. So no more restarts. Uh, define restarts. Like reboot your thing as if you lost or what? Yeah, this is not like I I really, really, really want to stress that like I'm not trying to make another Digimon or Tamagotchi V-Pet. Like period. I'm not. I don't in my personal opinion, I don't care about that. If I wanted a Digimon V-Pet, I would just go grab my Violet bracelet. I would grab my DMX V3 and be done. Oh, if it did no, so there's no restarts whatsoever. If your guy gets KO'd, okay. Two things. If your guy gets KO'd, you're just KO'd for a while, you're out of commission for a bit, and your mood will tank. So then you have to like think about how you're gonna battle for basically the rest of the day while your guy's pissed off, or you just block yourself out for like 2 hours or whatever. Or you spend a med kit. In the future, because I'm just gonna say this now. I'm probably gonna say it in the deep dive video because I feel like it's really important. The main course of running through the dungeons is actually kind of a tutorial. So the plan for launch is going to be 100 individual cards with 100 body gear pieces and headgear pieces, and head and body gear are just customization items. They don't affect any stats or anything. You can wear whatever you want, and it's fine. But once you get all 100 of them, you gain access. Well, first there's I guess it's not a secret boss anymore because I'm telling you. You access the final boss, beat the final boss, and then there's going to be a deep dungeon mode where you basically have the option to do a new game plus, and it's a roguelike. So you can go in, you start off with like your basic cards that you get at the very beginning of the game. And you go back to level 1 in this new game plus mode. You still have all your customization stuff, so you can dress up your Pico however the heck you want. But every single dungeon, you will get a random card, and the enemies will get progressively harder. And the goal is basically to see how long you can go before you eventually get knocked out and try to top your high score. When you get wiped, you go back to like the main mode where all of your original items that you had, all of the cards that you had before are restored. Then you can go back in the dungeon and try again. Um, so it's that to me is like the main thing. It's the part that I'm the most excited for because the purpose of the main game is to get you familiar with all of the cards and all the abilities and how the game actually works. So you understand like the flow and the care, and then you can begin planning. You understand what it's a chance for me to onboard slightly more complex cards and abilities because this is a virtual pet. It's a 1 inch screen. I'm not going to force Magic the Gathering levels of complicated double sided 60 word cards on here. Like I have 39 characters of text. In a wiki page that I don't want you to access unless you get really nerdy. I want you to be able to, go into your office, have a meeting. In between your meeting, you get the little glowy light. You forget what a card does when you're like using this, and then you ask yourself, "What does this thing do again?" And then while you're in here, and if you forget when it does something, you can just press and hold a button, and then it tells you what the card does. So you don't need to think about it too hard. Eventually, you'll learn what the icons are. You'll see the name, and then you'll be like, "Oh, Fireball. I know what Fireball does. Okay, cool." And then every time someone uses an attack, it will say on the bottom of the screen Fireball. You'll see the Fireball icon, so it'll be like kind of ingrained in your brain. But in the main game, I get to dictate what cards and abilities and play styles that you see and slowly onboard you into slightly more complex situations. So I get to kind of condition you. And then once you get conditioned and you beat the game, then you get to go into the deep dungeon mode where everything becomes a roguelike and then you don't know what cards you're gonna get at the time. So then you can start to come up with your own strategies and see how you fare against enemies that are maybe stacked against you, and the odds are not in your favor. So you have to plan accordingly. Of okay, well, I almost got wiped. Now I need to think about: do I need to play more defensively? Do I ramp up offense and then just heal up for tomorrow? Like that type of thing. That's what I'm really excited for, and I can't wait for you guys to try that. But it's totally not for everyone. Do I sell the STLs for the Vital Pet? I don't. And Drauk, I'll tell you now, the reason I don't is because I've had people for many, many years take my things and then claim that it's theirs and then sell it on a secondary market, and it kind of just turned me off from giving away free files and free stuff. I'm trying to actually turn that around a little bit with the PicoNav. So one of the things about the PicoNav is so I hate I hate giving answers and then telling stories, but I have such a bad habit of doing that. I'm so sorry. But today is actually my 2 year anniversary of being a business. And while my business is still kind of young and I'm experimenting with things, when I first came up with the idea for the PicoNav, I asked myself, what do I hate most about my business? And I hate that people, because it's the nature of 3D printing, people just want to take something, modify it, and then claim it's theirs. And I love the idea of open source, and I love the idea of community built things and iterating on somebody else's builds. So I told myself, how can I do this and still feel good about a product, um, and facilitate this into my business moving forward? How can I like foster the community and garner, their goodwill in doing this? So when I built the PicoNav, I knew from day one, I'm going to open source the software. The software is going to be yours and you guys can have it. The board, you can buy this board on AliExpress today. This is not a custom board. Um, how I assemble it, how I put it together, and the case that I build is my own creation. I went to manufacturers to get some of these pieces made, like the screen and like the front plates. I've very, very carefully done a bunch of 3D printing. Oh, you guys want to see something really cool? Check this out. This is a brass print. It's so cool. It's so beautiful. I love this one. It doesn't show up as well. This looks even better in person, mind you. But anyways, point is, I'll be giving out like the STL for the frames for the PicoNav, but everything else I want to do because if somebody really wanted to go and make a PicoNav of their own, go ahead. This time, because the software is my own, I'm doing some kind of open source licensing. I don't know what I want to do yet. I was looking at like the OpenGL licensing, but that may not be for me. But basically, if somebody wants to take my thing and then say, "Hey, I made my own VPET," they are legally required to say that this was based on Veek's PicoNav, and that's all I want. I don't care if somebody goes and takes my stuff and then sells it. I don't care if somebody takes my thing and iterates on it and makes it better. I care that people don't credit me for it and then they claim that it's their own original thing. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So with the PicoNav, I'm hoping that people do like it, and I hope that people will take it, make their own mods, or because I'm using GitHub, maybe they'll even like branch out or make their own fork, and then um, try to post a commit. So maybe we can have community efforts together. So somebody can say, "Hey, Veek, this is your first project. you kind of suck at battery optimization. Here is something that you can do to make battery life a little bit better, or to make the battery readouts even better. Or someone goes, Veek, I know you didn't have a lot of time for like multiplayer. Here is my here is my attempt at a multiplayer mod. Or somebody goes, hey guys, I just made a Digimon version of Veek's thing. Here's my code, download it, whatever. And then I can go like, here's so and so's Digimon mod or whatever. I think it's kind of cool. That would be the sickest shit. Like, I would love that. And I'm not opposed to sharing other stuff. If you guys have ever seen me in the Discord, I share other people's creations all the time. I comment on them. I think it's really cool. I just hate when people take my shit and then claim that it's their own brand new original thing and they built everything themselves. To me, that's just the most disrespectful thing for somebody who spends literal hundreds of hours of their free time working on it. It rubs me the wrong way. So because of that, I've had people take the Vital Watch and the Vital Pet and make very, very, very similar shells and claim that they did this all on their own and that there's no way that some guy who streams his entire process from start to finish didn't have any influence on it. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I really cannot stress enough. I love when people copy stuff. I love when people iterate on things. Like everything I do is not original, right? Like I've taken code from other developers and stuff, and granted, they have open source licensing. When I publish the PicoNav, you will also see said open source licensing. You'll see like Bodmer's TFT ESPI um, libraries that I used. Like you'll see like Pango Dreams like lithium ion battery readout things libraries that I use. Like it's not unusual for people to iterate on other people's work. That's honestly kind of the point of some of these engineering fields. I just I just want credit where credit is due effectively. And I think in a field like this where everyone just wants to have fun with their stupid little pixels, I truly, truly hope that there's enough interest in this that people will take my code and make some kind of iteration on it. Because I'll be honest with you, I built this in such a way that you can save and back up your own settings and save files whenever you need. There are going to be many updates. Like the beta is not going to be the full thing. I'm going to add a boatload of content in there. The full launch isn't going to be the full thing because I want to add things like mini games, achievements, decorations. I have a whole Trello board where I list all of these cool ideas that are really interesting, but I don't have the time or the resources because it doesn't fit in my schedule because, again, I'm one person. And there's a lot of things that I would like to do and iterate on as this thing progresses. So it's not going to just be this one software package. Similarly, I think somebody else can see this, right? And that maybe they're going to make their own custom expansion because also, yes, I plan on making expansions. Um, maybe somebody makes their own custom expansion. Maybe somebody just takes every single fucking battle chip from Mega Man Battle Network and puts it in here and they just give you guys net navi sprites. Whatever they decide to do. I'm totally here for it. My only legal requirement is that they publish their code openly for everyone to view, just like I'm going to have to do. So, anyways, I talked way too much. No, Drauk, I'm sorry, man. It's not. I would love to share things, but I've been burned already. I also have a certain member in the community that I love talking shit to, and he's a nice enough guy and all, but I had a person come up to me and say, "Hey, I would like to see how you built this one thing." And then I showed them, and then they were like, I would like to sell your product. And I told them, no, sorry, I want to keep this for myself. Maybe I'm going to sell it in the future. And then they turned around and then they made their own very, very, very similar version to this and then sold it. And I was like, oh, okay. So at that point, I was like, I get it. It's 3D printing, it's what people do. But I don't know. Some couple of bad actors ruined it for me. But I will say that's not necessarily a knock on them because again, people are going to do what people are going to do and I can't really fault anybody for it. I don't have control over that stuff. But what I do have control over is making my products the best possible thing. Which, by the way, when you guys get these in your hands and you feel them, which, okay, they're small, first off. Like, if you guys haven't, for the people that don't know, here's my Vital Pet and here's a Pico Nav. Like, the Vital Pet is already small. Let me get a brick. You guys are probably more familiar with this. This is my DMX shell because I put my DMX in a custom shell because of course I did. So that's a DMX. This is oh not mine. This is a Vital Pet, and then this is a Pico Nav. They are small, and the screen is huge, which is great. Um, but when you get this thing in your hand, when you feel like this, I don't know if you can hear this or not. Oh, you can't. My audio blocks it, but like this is like a sandblasted texture. And then when you see like the LED go off, when you hear the clicks, oh, my crisp audio, my Discord like sound suppression thing goes off. But yeah, everything about this, it's my best product that I've ever made so far. It feels really good. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to replicate something quite like this. And that's ultimately what I have to do. I just have to make a solid product that people are going to want to like feel and hold. Um, and I people in the Discord know that this box is changing, but this is the initial like packaging box that it comes in, so it's wrapped up like this, and then you get the little well, obviously this wouldn't be on here, but like you get the gist there. You get a little like package like that, and it's really cute. Um, but this box is changing. It's getting its own specific PicoNav logo. It's getting some text on the sides. I just I look at this and I get so excited. And I know again, I have a very particular taste. This is not going to be for everybody, and that's totally fine. Um, but that doesn't mean I can't be excited for it. Okay, we need to get to work because I haven't done anything yet. Usually when I'm on stream with you guys, I'm mildly productive, but I don't have any mods like I do on Twitch. Usually my Twitch mods yell at me to stay on focus. Dude, I love this form factor. Like, I'm okay, I'm a huge sucker for packaging. Do you guys want to see? Hang on. Let me go to somebody, the manufacturer that I'm working with sent me a mock-up, and I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. Uh, 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 let's see, Pico now. This is a silly mock-up. Bloop. And then on the side, on the left side, it'll say Veek with my logo. On the right side, it'll say Pico Nav again. I can't wait. I can't wait. Um, but yeah, the form factor to me, this sounds really silly. This is a huge deal because like I I, I can't I can't describe it, but this is just small enough that I don't hate putting it in my pocket and carrying it with me. Um, I don't know if you're one of those people, chat, but like I'm one of the people that everything in my pockets are in a specific like order and orientation. So like I have my phone. My phone is on my left pocket and I keep it screen up facing downward like this. My right pocket, I have my wallet, which is already incredibly slim. I don't think I have my wallet. I think it's upstairs. Oh no, my wallet's here. My wallet and keys are here. And thankfully I don't have car keys anymore, so that's kind of cool. But I have that. I have my oh, hey, I have everything on my person this time. So I have these stacked like this in my pocket, and then sometimes behind all of this, I have an iPhone SE that I have to have for work. And then I don't want to carry anything else at all. But I've carried like, the old brick style V pets. I've carried the Vital Pets, and the Vital Pets are like very fun and satisfying to click. Like, I had a really bad habit of just doing this in my pocket. Like, I used to do this all the time, or I would just like play with like the door like this while I'm just sitting at my desk. I'm just like sliding the door up and down. Um, but or just like mashing this button because it's so clicky. But this thing was like really annoying in my pocket when I had everything else. In the grand scheme of things, it's the same size as a brick. So if you ever put like one of the brick style V pets in your pocket, it's not a big deal. However, I don't care where this goes. Between this and the included wrist strap, some people are going to put their own wrist straps, they'll have their own charms, whatever. But like, I carry this thing everywhere, and I can put it in any pocket and not feel terrible. Like I can put it in my super cramped pocket. I can put it in one of my jacket pockets. I put it in like a little shirt pocket sometimes if I have one of those when I'm at work. I love the size of this thing. It's perfect for me. It might be weird for some people when you get it and you realize how small it is because like I mean like look at that. It's tiny. But for me it's perfect. The screen is way bigger than a VB and I can very clearly see everything. Like not even like I can be way over here and I could be looking at this and immediately tell like okay that's the deck screen, that's the venture screen. Like I can read this without a problem, and I'm blind. I am blind as fuck. Um, so size of this thing is fantastic. I love it. Um, how does one get to try a beta PicoNav? So after I do my deep dive video, so where I go through, in this video, we'll be talking about the PicoNav and its features and, like that. I'll go through all that. At the very end, I'm going to be posting an application. And in that application, you answer a couple of questions. There's some like super easy, like have you like what is your Discord? Like have you used blah 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 before, whatever. Um, so you do all that, and then there's some like short answer, long answer type of things. I'm gonna choose 50 people. The 50 people again are gonna be from various backgrounds and ranges, and I have certain criteria um that I don't want to fully tell everyone because I feel like they're gonna cheese the applications. Basically, I'm looking for obviously people of different backgrounds, as I've said before, but people who are vocal to feedback, both good and bad and critical, just people who are responsive, who can offer opinions, um who are, for lack of a better term, sensible, not just people who want to get early access to just play the thing. Like, yes, I want you to play it, but I also need you to approach this with a hint of skepticism to help me create a better product. Um, and then also worth noting, the hardware is final. Like the only thing about the hardware that is subject to change at this point is the packaging, which you've already seen. So that means that you're also going to be paying for the unit in advance. And beta testers, they'll get a little bit of like extra stuff. Like I'm going to do not an engraving, but like an embossing inside, so you can have like a custom line of text on the side of your PicoNav to remind you that you're one of the OGs. Um, Maybe custom colors as well, but you're buying your unit because I need to place a bulk order from China for a group of like 50 of these and 50 batteries, and that's going to cost me, honestly, probably like a couple $1,000s. So I need the money up front from people, and then as things go, they'll be getting updates. I need to ensure that these users can receive those updates and that they know what to do and they can provide feedback on the updates. And then when the launch unit comes out, there's no functional difference and they can just download the launch firmware. So they are true testers, and it's not going to be something that like, hey, you got in, you're just going to play the thing and have fun and like peace out, Vince. Like, no, you actually need to like communicate with me, and there's going to be a group channel of other testers where people share their findings and they discuss what works and what doesn't and what needs to be fixed, what needs to be rebalanced, those kinds of things. Like they're true testers, and I'm sure some motherfucker's going to break something, and that's totally fine, both physically and or on a software level, and it is what it is. So um the actual launch units will the orders will be taken in January and they will probably ship out in February. So a little bit of a ways away, but not too much longer when you factor in that um, I'll start taking beta applications probably towards the middle of this month, like the 18th is what I'm thinking. Don't hold me to that date because I've got some things going on. I thought I was gonna have this weekend free to program and code, and then I found out one of my friends was proposing tomorrow, so that ate up one of my days. And then we have a camping trip that we're all going on the following week when I wanted to do my video and stuff. So I'm gonna try. Oh, not the following week, the week after. But I'm gonna try my best to get everything ready by the 18th. I'll take the applications. I'll choose the people, and then we'll place all the orders for everything. Once the orders are in, then we wait from China to get back to me because it takes 2 to 4 weeks, and then there's holidays. So realistically, the units probably aren't even gonna ship out until mid-December. So they'll probably get them as a Christmas gift. The beta testers, and then that gives me a month in between to work on everything. They test it out for another month. I launch the full product with something that I can't talk about quite yet, and then those orders will come in and be placed on mid-January. A lot of the parts are already pre-built, which another thing is with like the Vital Pets and stuff. I have even now. You're gonna if you've watched me do this, which I haven't really done anything. I've just been talking for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Um, but Vital Pets take a lot of time to build, ship, and assemble. The average Vital Pet takes about 5 or 6 hours to print all of the parts on average, and then probably another like 2 hours to manufacture and put together and assemble. The average PicoNav takes about an hour to print six of them. So, because I print them in bulk, whereas a PicoNav takes 6 hours to print one, um, a PicoNav I can take about an hour, hour and a half to print six, And the assembly, because there's no sanding, there's no screws, there's no glue or anything like that, the assembly takes under 5 minutes to build and put together. Honestly, one would argue that because of like the assembly nature of it, it probably takes longer to flash the firmware than it does to actually like put the thing together. Like it is literally just taking a board, all of the oops, this one doesn't have one because this is dead. All of the LEDs I solder in when I receive them, so I'll spend a whole dedicated day just soldering 300 LEDs. It'll probably take me under a day. But this has a plug-in battery. Battery gets plugged in. These pieces here are snap fit, so no glues, no nothing. They just pop into place. This is nylon. This is a semi-flexible resin, and everything just kind of works. Also, somebody asked the charge port, USB-C. So you can just use any USB-C charger. No, there's no wireless charging. I would love for wireless charging, but it's too expensive and too fat. When I tell you one of my biggest regrets about the PicoNav is that I couldn't shrink this by another millimeter, I'm not even joking you. I really, really wanted this thing to be a millimeter thinner, but I couldn't do it. At least not in a way that wouldn't require custom tooling or custom boards or raise the markup because um, I'm selling the PicoNav between 60 and $70. I'm shooting for 60, but when I originally um, when I originally chose $60, this thing called inflation happened. So I might have to go up to 65, but right now we're sitting at $60. I don't want to go above that. A lot of the design decisions I've made in procuring the parts, getting things that are readily available on the market for cheap, not making a custom board because those tend to get expensive. Um, and also, again, open source nature means that I wanted things to be out there so you can do whatever, you can break whatever, you can fix whatever. Um, yeah, all of that is going to be set and it's already pretty much locked in at this point in time. But I want to take things sensibly. I don't want to run into the same production issues I ran into with the Vital Pets. I don't want to run into the same personnel issues I ran with the Vital Pets. Looking at you, Jesse. um, but yeah, I think overall, this product, I'm super happy. I think it shows every time I talk about it. I love this thing. I like eat, breathe, and sleep thinking about this thing. Um, I bought a separate. You guys want to see something really nerdy? This I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Uh, my dock is plugged in. This is a GPD Win 4, and I'm currently remoted into it right now. But this thing sits on my desk and it goes everywhere I go. I don't have. That's not true. I installed one game. I've never played it on there, but um, on here I have a remote desktop session that I keep this thing with me, and all I do on this is just code PicoNav stuff. It's literally all I do on it. Like if I switch to my monitor, I have a remote session and I'm just in here coding PicoNav stuff, going through like my file structure and going back asking ChatGPT a question because this is again the very first time I've ever made a project on an ESP32. My reference like pixel art that I do, these are like all of my test menus that I hand draw and then determine like how they're gonna look and then do all the math back into here. I eat, breathe, and sleep this. When I went to Europe, I brought this. I brought that GPD Win 4 with me, and I just coded on the plane for like 8 hours at a time. All I did was just like code. I love this thing. I haven't played a single game on it. One of my coworkers bugs me about it every time because I bring it into work and I plug it into my secondary system because I work in IT and I have multiple computers just around me. So like sometimes I have an idea while I'm at work and then I switch over and I'll do some PicoNav stuff and then go back to work. I got a coworker who bugs me every time. Every day he comes, he's like, "So when you gonna let me play some games on that, bro?" And I'm like, "No, no." Um, but yeah, as far as applications go, you guys will see them in the upcoming weeks. If you're in the Discord, you'll have a chance to fill it out probably about 3 days before everybody else does. Just because the Discord members have been incredibly invaluable to me, giving feedback, giving their 2 cents, getting hype for it, keeping me motivated, that type of stuff. Um, Sharing stupid memes. So if you guys want to be more involved, always, always, always check out the Discord. Um, I just realized now I could probably put that in like the video link or something here. But I don't know how to use YouTube at all. But yeah, my friend's proposal. I mean, they've been together. My friends have been together. Like those two have been together longer than my wife and I have been dating. And my wife and I have been dating for well, obviously, like we're married now, so we've been married for 3 years. We've dated for 5 before that, so 8 years, and we've known each other for 14. These two have been dating for I think 10 years. They live together. They've lived together in multiple apartments. Like they have a house together now. I don't know why the fuck they're not married. So, yeah. Super like we when he told us this was Monday morning. He told us on Monday cuz Sunday night my wife and I were like, yes, we finally have a free weekend because my basement right now is in shambles. Actually, it's cleaned up now because like we ripped out all of the old flooring. We redid the stairs, and it was a war zone in here. So we spent like the greater part of 2 weeks getting everything all fixed up, and now that it's all finally done, we were like, okay, sweet, we can get a weekend to just relax. And by relax, I truthfully mean work on my business. So I'm going to be doing Pico Nav and Vital Pet stuff. And then my buddy is like, "Hey, I'm gonna propose." I'm like, "Congrats! Fuck, my weekend." Uh, but truly, I am happy for him. All right, I've got some printers that are finished, so let's go look at parts. What needs to be done? I need to make another silver. Also, my apologies for not having my face on live stream in a while. Lately, I've been feeling maybe a little too cozy around y'all when I stream, and I'm just in my PJs and I haven't showered today, so like my hair is down and I'm kind of gross. Usually I have like a face cam and you can see like my printers in the background and stuff, but yeah, not today. Uh, let's see. Forest green, we need two of those as well. So we'll get those printed. Let's actually try to work on some stuff today instead of talking about the Pico Nav literally all day, which I could do. Um, Another thing, actually, while we're talking about the Pico Nav, you got games on your Pico Nav? I can't wait to like for mini games and stuff. It's gonna be so stupid. Like they're gonna be the easiest fucking mini games. Um, but things like Kirby's like quick draw thing, where like you see the exclamation point, you have to press the A button before like the other guy. Like silly things. But what was I talking about? What is the Discord name? I should put that in the description. I should also make Jesse a mod in here because I don't know how to do anything. Okay, for people that know me, I've streamed for a long time. I've streamed for a decade at this point. I'm such an old Twitch partner that on Twitch, um, to get my partnership, an actual member of Justin TV had to like review my channel and like watch one of my streams live, and like it was a whole thing. I don't know how. I don't know how to stream, dude. There's so many like regular mod stuff that I'm so dumb. So dumb. All right, I found it. Cow racing. We're not going to go that in depth. Look, by the end of the day, this still has to be a very simple application because, I mean, look at it. It's tiny. There's only so much you can do. Um, there are two other McDonald's VIPs, but this is not one of them. I have two of the clear and gold ones that need to be sent out actually ASAP, so I'm going to go and do that. Yeah, I need you to be a good mod because I am a terrible streamer. I'm an awful streamer. Oh yeah, but another thing that I wanted to do as well, that you'll see in the near future, is I want to do contests and community feedback. So, if people have ideas for different pieces of gear that they want to have, when you can see, like the various parameters around it. If people want to create, I'll put a template out for people too. But if you want to make your own gear sets and things like that, we'll take contests, and some of the best ones will get put into the game. Some of the different abilities and cards will take, but I'm a lot more um scrutinizing on cards and abilities. I think it's just because I've played too many like too many card games. I was once a professional Pokemon player. Um, I am very critical on how I have a very laser specific vision on how I want the cards and abilities to work on here. And like here, I'm gonna show you another nerd thing is my spreadsheet. Um, but for the Pico Nap, I have different abilities here, and they all fulfill different goals. And over on the right side here, I have a damage calculation chart where I'm trying to, because ideally for me, the sweet spot is going to be somewhere between 5 to 8 turn battles, and they're going to be quick. Like you're not going to be sitting here mulling over what your next move is going to be. Like you're going to have 3 cards. um, but I want the battles like I want you for the next like 45 seconds to a minute to like be like I wonder like what the best move is going to be and blah, and then you think about it, you finish your battle, and then you go about your day, like you get back to work or whatever you're doing. um so I have like this whole spreadsheet thing inside. I have philosophies on what the overarching themes for each archetype should be, but they also blend together and you can kind of mix and match them, kind of like multicolor and magic and like that type of stuff. So there's synergies in between them as well. It's very, very deliberate. Like I spent way too much time on the cards. So that's one where I'm like, okay, a little bit less tolerant of. Like it's got to be a really cool, really unique thing that also makes sense in the grand scheme of things. Also with the cards, every single card is going to hopefully be in the conversation. I don't want there to be strictly better cards or strictly worse cards. Kind of like how in Pokemon too, like once you learn Flamethrower, you'll never use Ember. There's no point. Um, like Flamethrower is just objectively better. And similar like in Magic, you'll never use Lightning Strike if you have Lightning Bolt accessible to you. There's no point. Um, I don't want that to be the case with the Pico Nav, and the way that we're doing this is by introducing slightly more complex concepts as the game progresses with higher payouts. So you can take a simplistic approach, you can take a little more convoluted one, or you can have different utility pieces. But in doing it this way, your simple play a fireball, stick a fire counter on something, detonate the fire counter with flare to do 3 times damage, that's not going to work forever as the game progresses because eventually you'll have opponents do things like remove counters or replace them, or they'll modify the arena. And arenas are kind of like stadiums in the Pokemon trading card game or world enchantments where they affect all players. And that will affect your immediate game plan as well. So that doesn't necessarily make your strategy bad or antiquated, but it makes you think differently. And then as the game progresses, maybe there is still a place where you can do your simple combo of putting in a fire counter and then detonating the fire counter. Um, so yeah. Did I write the notes for you? No, I did not. When did we chat? Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Thursday, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Jesse. I had my presentation for one of the companies at work. Like I was literally in a suit yesterday. And I got home, I fell asleep, and then I woke up. It was midnight. I was like, what is happening? Where am I? And then I just started coding the Pico Nav and working on the deck. So and then today I've just been working on launch stuff all day. However, tomorrow I am out and about and I will start writing everything because I need to. And honestly, writing those notes work better for me when I'm not at a desk or something because when I'm out doing things, I'm a little bit of a workaholic if that hasn't I'm either a workaholic or a bum and there's no in between. Like I either get super addicted to Valorant and I just want to play Valorant for 5 days straight and do literally nothing, or I am working until I literally like collapse and then forget to sleep. So right now I'm in super workaholic mode. Even as my friends are proposing to one another and about to get married, I'm probably still gonna be working on stuff. So in the midst of that, like while I'm in the car or something like that, I'll start typing up notes, or while we're at dinner and we're waiting for things and blah or whatever, I'll start typing up the notes. Okay, back to work. So this guy, 1331, he's got a vital bracelet B. Do I have that? Balancing is definitely going to be super hard. I fully expect everything to be broken. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've made a game like this because I've made multiple games. I don't think there's ever been a time where anything's been balanced on day one. So that's part of where the beta testers come in because I know I've got two big problems with balancing. One is that I love broken shit. If anyone's ever played Magic, if you know what Storm is, and in 2023, Storm is not broken, but Storm is my all-time favorite way to play Magic. Um, I would happily abuse Storm all the time, no matter what. And when Storm was at its peak and people would complain that it's broken, I'd be like, yeah, man, that's great. So I'm being very mindful of that, that when something is broken, either other things need to be brought up or it itself needs to be brought down. One of the mechanics that I have in here is lightning, and lightning applies a lightning counter on yourself, but it can stack. So you can have one, two, or three lightning counters on yourself. It's one of the only few things in the game that actually stack. Um, because you can't have on a screen this big, you cannot have multiple counters. Like it just won't work. Um, and as a result of that, you only get one counter on you, one counter on your opponent, and then one counter on the arena. But with lightning, you can get basically lightning 1, lightning 2, and lightning 3. And the damage multiplies. So the lightning type cards are very low in power, but if you can manage to keep your stacks without getting them knocked off or replaced or whatever, you can capitalize on it. And I can feel that being kind of terrifying. There's other things that sound really innocuous as well. Like, I have cards that like shuffle your deck, and it's an 8 card deck, and you draw 3 of them. So, like, is that just going to be overly consistent, and then you can just play one of those and get things in all the time? I also don't know what like the deck constructions are going to be, or like what the quote unquote meta will be. Because my thought is cards are broken up into like 3 just typical categories, if you will. There are the setup cards, there are the finisher cards, there are utility cards, and then there's I guess there's a fourth one of like the no nonsense cards, like um, things that ignore or just do straight damage or that type of thing. But because of the way they all interact with each other, I can see a certain meta developing, and I can see certain things being abused, but I won't know. You use the plains and water deck. Um, do you mean like plains and island, like a blue white deck in Magic? I my very first Magic deck. I played in Return to Ravnica Standard, and my very first thing, like I learned to play Magic by 2 guys at my college rec room. Um, they were playing Standard, and I remember that like, I knew what Magic was. I've never like actually sat down and played it, but one guy every time he played a card, he kept saying surfboard. Like I don't know why. He just said it after every card he played. It made no fucking sense. And I looked over and I was like, what are y'all playing? What's going on? What are you doing? What are you saying? And they were explaining Magic to me, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, that's cool. And then I saw the other guy counter another card on the other dude's turn. It's a really basic Magic thing, and I was like, that is the coolest shit. So they sat me down and they taught me how to play, and they gave me this Jeskai control deck, and I fell in love. And Is It Anything became my absolute favorite thing of all time. Like, is it Blitz? Is it Prowess? Is it Spellslinger? Is it Storm? Is it Control? Is it Phoenix? Is it anything? You can slap in Jeskai sometimes, that's fine too. To this day, it's like all I do. I'm just Is It guy and Is It accessories. So that should tell you a lot about my preferred playstyle. And I'm trying to branch out when creating stuff like this because I acknowledge that, deck, there's more to the game than just deck manipulation. Um, but I want to make this multifaceted in the types of combos that you can pull off, and I want you to feel good about pulling off those combos as well. So we'll see. Yeah, but things are gonna be broken. Things are gonna be so broken so fast. We're talking Magic. We're talking about the Pico Nav, but also Magic. That's you when you use a Dovin's Veto. You piece of shit. I love it. I so I played a Kaikara Wind's Fury deck for a commander for a little bit. Um, and Dovin's Veto, there's there's a smug feeling that you get. Okay, this should tell you a thing about myself. My favorite card of all time is Force of Will. So like I sold off a bunch of my Magic collection except for my Pioneer decks and Force of Will. Everything else I just proxy because I don't. I There was a point where I had a $2,000 Magic deck and I looked at myself and I said, "Really? I'm doing this?" I was like, "I can go buy a couch. I could go and like pay my mortgage or something, you know?" So I was like, there's no point. And plus, I started proxying, and I got really carried away with like my art, with the proxies. So I had so much fun doing that. My friends also proxy. I got players into the game by proxying. So I just don't care anymore. Now Pioneer's different. Like if I'm gonna go to an FNM and play Pioneer, I need my Phoenixes, um, or I need my Indomitable Creativities or whatever. Although, is it kind of blows right now? To be fair, Magic kind of blows right now. Anyways, you guys have not helped me at all keep this thing together. You know, is there a way to see? Oh God, I just messed the chat. Oh, there we go. Okay. I need to put stuff. I still don't know how to use YouTube. I don't know where anything is in this. Managing moderators. I need to. I probably do need to get a mod. Oh well. Black Mage. I love Black Mage. I also like. Where is it? Where'd it go? Oops. Well, I just dropped a bunch of cards. So I can't find it. I was trying to find my Black Mage proxy for Vadric in Magic because I made a Magic proxy of this card, but as a Magic card. This is the actual real card, but whatever. I don't know where I put it. I just truthfully I haven't really been into Magic lately. I still keep up with it. Like I follow all the podcasts and I look at all the card releases and stuff. But I can't stand Universes Beyond. I know a lot of people love it and I'm very happy for them, but I don't care about Doctor Who at all. I hate Fallout. Like I hate Fallout. And if you like that, that's great, but it just makes me not give a fuck. And then there's so many releases between those two Universes Beyond things. The Lost Caverns of Ixalan stuff just came out. I feel like we just got Wilds of Eldraine, and I didn't even get a chance to enjoy it. Um, and it's so much. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to have to play a game that like updates that frequently. Um, it's definitely not in my wallet. My wallet is tiny. I take pride in having a very thin, small wallet. Like this is everything I carry, and it's great. Uh, what's funny is that between Universes Beyond and Ixalan, you couldn't care for Ixalan. I can't care for either. Is my problem. Like this is kind of like the whole Universes Beyond slash release schedule conundrum. Um, there are just so many releases out right now that I can't get myself to get hype over anything because the moment you get hype for one thing, there's just 10 million other things. So I just kind of tune out. But I tuned out for so long that it's just like, do I even care anymore? And that's a terrible feeling for a game that I truly do love. And I realize I don't have any backplates for these, so I need to print those. Let's go wrap these up. Let's actually get some work done, people. Please. Oh shit. You guys are terrible influences. Out here talking about magic now. I need to put some of these on my Etsy because I have so many of these. I need to get rid of them. I really want to. I need to get through Stormblood. I know Deciums has been messaging me in the background to like play Final Fantasy 14 and like progress through the story so I can not hate Stormblood and all. But I just have not had. I have not had the time to like really sit down and every time I have more than a couple of minutes to play something, I'm either thinking, man, I want to work on the Pico Nav, or I could play some Valorant. And it's terrible. Or sometimes I do both. So, like I'll work on the Pico Nav in between rounds of Valorant when like Vanessa calls me. We've talked about it so many times, but it's just overwhelming in terms of product. Yeah, I just don't care anymore. Like I truthfully don't care. And it's a terrible feeling. All right, I'm gonna put these up for sale on my Etsy. I gotta count these. 3, 4, 5. Stormblood was eh. I just started it, and I went on like a 10-minute rant about how the intro to Stormblood was a fraction as cool as the intro to Heaven's Ward. I loved Heaven's Ward. No, I shouldn't say loved. I'll say it. Fuck it. I loved Heaven's Ward. I'm a tough cookie to please, and honestly, I give Heaven's Ward like a 6.5 out of 10. Like as an overall package, there are definitely some faults with it and some cheesy stuff, but like I loved the atmosphere. I love the stories that it tried to tell. And yeah, some portions fell a little flat, sure, but coming from A Realm Reborn, I guess anything was better. So I quite enjoyed it. But the beginning of Stormblood, I'm not feeling. I'll be honest. But when I say I'm at the beginning, I'm literally on like chapter one. Like I'm at the beginning. So there's time. Let's see. So I've got one white, one black, got 0 navy, got 5 clears, got 0 blacks, and then I've got 1 red. Renew. Sure. Sweet. Okay, so that's one thing addressed. What's in the bag? Those are just spare stock VB shells. So whenever I do a pre-modded unit, I actually harvest all the parts like perfectly because when I tell you, I've probably done over 100 mods. Like personally, um, I've gotten really surgical at these. So I harvest them and then I sell them for people who want the stock shells for like 20 bucks on Etsy. um Vic busted all over the intro cinematic because the intro cinematic was so much better. It's the first time, it's literally the first time in Final Fantasy 14 that I actually started giving a fuck about the story. Because everyone, okay, this is now I'm going on my tangent again. I am so hard to please when it comes to stories and video game stories, especially. Like, first off, I don't watch many movies because I find a lot of movies dumb or cheesy, and even if that's the point, I still typically don't like them. Um, and I don't watch TV that much either. And when I do play a video game, I typically like competitive video games that have direct opponents and not so many story-based things or not that many PvE-based things. Not to say I don't play them, but like they're not usually on the top of my list. But everyone was talking about how awesome Final Fantasy XIV's story was, and how great it was, and how it made grown men cry on Endwalker and blah. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll play it. I'll go through it, and I won't just do Fashion Simulator like I've always been doing. But I'm still doing Fashion Simulator. So I got through Realm Reborn, hated my life because it took 10,000 fucking years. And then I finally got to Heavensward. And then you get to the intro, and it's so sick. It's so sick. The music is awesome. The atmosphere is tight. Everything changes, and you're like, whoa. There's actual production value in this. Like, there's voice acting, and it's not total shite. And I know there was voice acting in A Realm Reborn, but it was awful. It was so dope. And then starting Stormblood, I get like a 10-second cutscene, like a 15-second cutscene of a character that I fucking hate. What's her name? Lise? I don't give a fuck about her. I didn't give a fuck about her when her name was Ida. And she's just talking about war or whatever. War never changes, some shit, whatever. And then it says Stormblood and then fire or whatever. Who cares, bro? Who cares? It just, God. That's the other thing too. I, they're trying to make it like whatever. They try to make it sad that Papa Limo died or whatever. I didn't give a fuck about that dude. I barely knew him. Ugh, God. Anyways, so yeah, if you watch me play Final Fantasy 14, it's probably gonna be on Twitch, and I'm probably gonna be bitching a little bit, a lot of it. And then I'm also probably gonna forget my buttons because I play Final Fantasy 14 like once a month, and I play a black mage, and I forget what my buttons do. So it's like the first hour, me trying to remember, oh, what does this thing do? Oh yeah, that's how I get my stacks. So if that interests you, then yeah, feel free to watch that on Twitch every now and then. Um, I'm getting a lot of restock requests for my Vital Watch, and I don't know when those are going to be restocked. I put an order out to my vendor today, and I don't know what the ETA is. He didn't give me a time frame. I'm imagining it's sometime next week, but I should put those on my Etsy. I need to utilize Etsy a bit more. Okay, so we've got all four printers running. Oh, I lied. One printer finished. Hold up. That came out excellent. Okay. Satori Blue. This is done. Not done. I need to print a dim compartment and then a back shield. But I guess I could technically do that a bit later. Do I have parts? Let's print. Honestly, guys, a little bit of a cop out. But here's the thing. I need to print so many of these parts, and they take me 3 hours a piece to print. I might just, it's 11:30, I'm a little tired. I might just print these and then chat with y'all and then just do some background stuff. Are we cool with that? Because I don't really want to sand and glue and hate my life right now when it's almost midnight. I don't I don't feel like hating myself. And then tomorrow, after we get back from dinner, we can have another stream, and then I can hate myself then. What do we say? Why am I bargaining with you guys? It's my fucking stream. Ugh, so silly. Do me, thanks. Why am I like I'm bargaining with my chat room. What am I doing? Okay. So here's here's what I do for I mean a lot of you guys have seen this if you've been in my Twitch streams, but I have another spreadsheet. I'm really spreadsheet Andy, whether I like to admit it or not. But I go through and I print all the individual pieces and then I mark them week by week, what's completed and what's not. The bodies, these are 3 hours a piece. So trying to get as many of these knocked out as I can, and then the rest of them I can kind of work and talk with you guys. But if I get these knocked out, then I'm chilling. So that's the plan. More streams? Yeah. Sounds like a problem for future Veek. I try not to think like that, but today might be one of those days. I need to also just clean up my desk generally because I my thought process is so weird. But anything that sits on my desk is basically like an open action item. So if I see it, so the cleaner my desk is, the less I have to do. So right now I have a lot to do. But this I need to put this away. I want to make a custom mouse so bad. It's killing me. It's killing me. I'm just gonna put this away. I was hoping that leaving it on my desk would inspire me to come up with really cool stuff. Um, but we playing Valorant? No, we're not playing Valorant. God damn it. No, crackhead. Um, so basically, so technically you can knock out 8 bodies a day on a single printer. Yes. I've got 4 printers running right now. Usually what I do is so this is my personal flow. Because I do these on Fridays after I get off of work. I spend the first day printing shells and then doing all the logistics. So after I put out, this is kind of like a behind the scenes thing. After I put out a wave, typically things sell out in a couple of minutes, but I'm almost always answering emails and Discord messages and DMs for probably the next 2 to 3 hours. People will come to me and be like, "Hey, I placed an order so fast. I was just in a rush because I wanted to get it on time and I picked the wrong colors, or I fucked up my payment method, or I put the wrong shipping address." So I'm just fixing things. I'm just fixing things all like literally 3 hours straight. That's just what I'm doing. And then I make my spreadsheet because without that spreadsheet, I am randomly flipping back and forth between shop pages trying to figure out what needs to be printed when. I'm switching colors, which wastes time and then filament, and by the end of the day, money. So then I build this spreadsheet out. I plan accordingly. I just kind of like, because of like days like today, I just assume my Friday is a wash. So I prep everything I need for my Saturday, Sunday, and I get all the super big pieces, especially like before I go to bed. I try to make sure that like the 3 hour prints get done. But then as I'm sitting here working, I'll start printing some of the smaller things, and then I can begin to kind of work and talk. Um, yeah. Um, Anywho, the PicoNav drop thing, I'll show you in a bit because I actually tested that out literally yesterday, and I'm kind of surprised no one in Discord said anything. I was a little upset because I didn't put work into it, but like I uploaded like 6 different videos and no one said anything. So I'll show you that in a moment. Um, Question, how am I liking the keyboard? I love this keyboard so much, I actually ordered a second one because they just announced a V2. The NuFi Air 60. So, okay. You cannot ask me a question without expecting a story. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. Um, I am a psychopath for keyboards. I almost built my own fully custom keyboard, like built my own PCB kind of psychopath. In fact, I probably still will. I have a macro pad that I take now, it's at work, but I have the Creator Micro from Work Louder because I absolutely adore the CMF design of that thing. And then the NuFi Air 60, I love so much. I actually have like 4 different keycap sets of this, and I love something low profile that I can take with me that also looks stylish. And as you can tell by my needs as a person, I'm kind of a psychopath. But I love low profile keys. I like things that are very slim. I used to travel a lot for my old job. I used to be a plugin developer and like a CNC engineer, and this was the keyboard I used to use. It's the Microsoft um, what is it, Compact Studio or something like that. But it's incredibly, like, it's super super thin. So this I used to just throw in my backpack. It can have 3 different profiles and then go. But I missed having a mechanical keyboard. So this one has low profile switches, still really small. My case, I think the case is stylish and adorable. And you can technically open this thing up and you can technically do this whole thing where like you button the backside like this, and then you can put like a tablet or something. I never do that. I never do that at all. Instead, what I usually do is this is just a really cool carrying case for like 20 bucks. But I use mine and I just slide it in. And then when I bring this with me to work, so then when I come to work, I pull this thing out and then just use it in my day to day. My requirements for a keyboard still needs to be thin, still needs to be stylish and a little quirky. Has to have multiple different profiles. So this has a wired and wireless mode, which is really convenient. Windows and Mac also convenient because at my work desk, I have my work PC, my Mac, my secondary PC which is my GPD Win here, so it's what I use to code the PicoNav. And then I have whatever test units people bring me. So I might have like a Surface laptop or some HP or Lenovo laptop or something or whatever. So it has to be able to handle 3 different profiles. So then um, I can go from profile 1, 2, 3, and then there's a 2.4 wireless gigahertz mode if you want to be a gamer. So that's really cool too. But I had some problems with this thing. First, annoying issue that I hate is that the Bluetooth on this thing fucking sucked. And for the first like 3 days, I thought I was just gonna return it because the Bluetooth was so dog shit. And when I say dog shit, I don't mean like, oh, Vince is just like a crazy hyper gamer who plays too much Valorant. Like I'm talking keys would double type, your space bar wouldn't register. It was awful. And then I found out that this thing is Bluetooth 5.0 and Bluetooth 3.0, and the 5.0 drivers just don't work. So when you pair it, you have to pair it in Bluetooth 3.0, which is fine, good enough, and it works. Second thing I hated was that back here there are these little like feet things, and there's like rubber feet, but they fell off so much that I just took them off, and they just sucked. Um, but now the new like the version two, oh, also there's proprietary software to upload things, so you can't use QMK if you're a keyboard nerd. You can't use VIA again if you're a keyboard nerd. But the V2 fixes all of that. It has better Bluetooth drivers. It has better feet with a kickstand. It has QMK and VIA support, which is amazing. It comes in matte black, and I'm a sucker for matte black. In fact, a lot of these keys I bought from China. Like it's so hard. These are NSA low profile keys, and I think I have browns. Um, but this space bar is normally bright yellow, and this enter bar is normally bright orange. And mint is actually my favorite color for people that don't know. I love copper. Black and copper is like my thing, but also black and mint is my thing. So mint is my favorite color. I kept that. But I wanted this to be black like a piano, and I wanted to have like a couple of like white and black keys. So I wanted to have like these to be black and like so on and so forth. So now I just ordered the other one. It's 120 bucks. You can probably find it for 110. I love 60% keyboards. I like how thin they are. I like the feeling of a low profile key. My wife has like a regular size keyboard. She's got like a 75% keyboard with regular sized height keys, and they're also mechanical. Um, I'm not. I just like the low profile feeling of it. If you like something that you can carry with you and travel, if you're going to use a lot of different keys, or you just want something stylish that looks like a YouTuber, these are really cool. I think more people prefer the NuFi Air 75, which is a 75% keyboard with like a function key and extra stuff. But for me, that's totally unnecessary. The shift over here might bug you if you use the right shift a lot. I don't use it that much, so it's not that big of an issue. But I love this thing. I don't have a referral code or anything. This is not sponsored, but I truly love this thing. Yeah, I talk way too much about it, but yeah, I love it so much. I bought the V2 and looks sweet, and I have my confirmation email just hanging. Oh yeah, the drop test. Let's talk about that. You thought DWO asked about the videos he posted on Discord? Did he? So this is the V2, and you can see what I mean by the orange and the yellow keys. So I'm gonna take my other keys and swap them out. But they also have a bunch of different keycap sets and whatnot. So I ordered this guy, and then I'm probably gonna. I think I ordered a set of like white keys, but I don't like that these are like kind of off-centered. Even though my keys, like my enter button, is a little off-center, and I that's an exception for me because it's enter, and this one, yeah, you get it, whatever, fuck it. But I think it'd be really cool to have this. And then, oh, look at that. They're already my favorite color. I love that. I love that so much. Oh my God. I might just keep this as is, to be honest, and then just swap these out for like white keys. Um, oh, I love that. Oh, I love that a lot. But the feet, they're now adjustable, which is really cool. These are still probably going to be dog water, but I've kind of grown to live with them. So whatever. There's also new tan folio. That's cool. Not going to buy it. And then there's a bunch of different uh caps and stuff. I think I bought this. So you might see this in some of my product videos in the future because I like to use desk mats for like or play mats and stuff for like my backgrounds for product shots. So you might see this and now you know where it's from. But NuFi, they're quickly becoming one of my favorite keyboard creators without actually going fully custom. One of my friends just bought the super over the top, was it the Field 75? Yeah, this thing. One of my homies just bought this one. That is so extra, and I'm really curious to see how that one turns out. And they have like a yeah, it looks tight, but it's like super crazy. There's also Work Louder. So I love the design of like CMF design is one of my favorite engineering design styles in existence. So when I heard that they were making a keyboard, this thing, the creator board, I got so excited, but then I saw it was like $300 or something, and I was like, no, thank you. And I know in the keyboard world that is like, yeah, no, thank you, fuck that. But like, you can't deny that's not gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Um, Fun fact, actually, the Pico Nav buttons came from this because I have the Creator Board Micro, and I just thought it was such a brilliant piece of tech that I have this in my work office now because I use it there a lot to like switch back and forth between teams, to auto mute myself, to pull up my quoting tool, my email, that type of thing. Um, but yeah, really sweet. This thing is, it feels incredible. It feels premium. I mean, it's a premium price, but also it's really truly inspired me to like create a better product. And a lot of my design from the Pico Nav came from my experience holding this board. I mean, you can kind of tell by the influences already, just like the clear frosted thing, the button layouts. Um, but it truly made me think like I need to make a better product. So it does look like a teenage engineering product, which is why it's fucking tight. I have a whole folder dedicated to CMF and industrial design, and I just look at it for inspiration sometimes. You love low profile keyboards. You recently changed out your keycaps to the XVX blue backlit keys. Those are tight. I think you'll probably like the new Vi's, but if you're the type of person to get like sweaty over like hot swapping keys and stuff, you're probably gonna want to get your own keycaps and lube them in. Oh, also another thing is that if you're like a big sound person, like I'm not a big sound person, but people will often do like foam and like tape mods to kind of dampen some of the sounds. So it is a modifiable keyboard, and there are things out there, but it's a good base, and if you like low profile, I think it's good just out the box, just depending on the kind of person you are. Anyways, I'm so distracted. I want to talk about the drop test because somebody had asked about it, and that's a good question, and I want to talk about it because I'm just I'm just happy. Um, so by let's start off with a photo. Let's do this. Uh, so at the time, for context, I was creating a demo unit of this like clear blue shell. And while I was doing that, this was just a proof of concept because I was actually testing a new resin. The resin that I was using for the original Pico Nav, the key benefit was that it printed at a relatively high quality while being easy to clean and to kind of maneuver with. Because if you've ever printed with resin, some resins are very thick and viscous, and there are some very like specific print temperatures you have to work with. Um, so in the past, I've worked with other clear resins that would either yellow or they wouldn't have the correct durability or some combination of the two. And this resin, Sorayatec Simple, was the best I could find that was still pretty clear and rigid enough to survive a couple of drops. Um, but I also made another project a while back called the Code Block. And I say a while back, it was probably like a couple of months ago. Um, and I made a Linux device because, again, I'm a psychopath and I can't sit still. But let me find a photo of it. Yeah, so I made this thing over here. This is called the Code Block, and this used a resin from it's called a resin called Conjure. I think it's by Chi2 Systems, and this resin looked and felt incredible. Like it was amazing. So I immediately started coming up with a bajillion ideas of how I can work with this resin. Like it was impact resistant, it was pure black, it wasn't like chalky or anything. You can drill into it, you can tap and screw into it. It was literally everything I had ever wanted in a resin. And then they made a clear one, and I was like, oh shit, I have to try this. I have to try this clear resin. So I did. And while testing it, somebody in the chat was asking about making a blue one. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing some print testing. I have to dial my settings in anyway. Let me try these. Let me try making a blue one for fun. So the two units I'm about to show you, there's a clear one, which is the old original resin that I used. And then the blue one that is not this blue because I got the color wrong because I was still tuning all the settings. And that one is the new resin. And both of them have defects on them. There's holes in both of them because I was testing some settings. So, with that context out of the way, this is drop one of the old resin. So here you can see the frame falls out pretty much almost all the time because the frames are hot swappable. They're not glued into place. If you want to glue them into place, you can, but by default, if you want to remove them, you have to take like a pry tool or a screwdriver or a knife. I do a couple of different drop tests here. So I do one dropping this way, I do one dropping on its back, I do one dropping on its front, and you'll kind of see how the results go. So this one, dropping on the front. So that's test 2, by the way. So I didn't switch anything out. So far, so good. Great. It's also worth noting that the hole is not on, it's on well, I don't think it matters anymore. The hole is on the front side over here. So like the opposite of this side. This hole that I can't really show you. So now I drop it and it breaks. It cracks. So it can survive regular drops, but if it's thrown, no go. So then we switch to the blue. So the blue, over here on this side, there are already holes. Again, that's a print defect. That's not anything to do with the drop test, but you should know. So, first test, same drop, whatever. This is also a concrete floor in my basement. So, same thing. And then here you can see a really, really tiny little mark from where it actually hit, like the actual impact. And it's like, it's nothing. Second drop, same thing. And that one stuck the landing. So, looks fine. Looks fine. And that's the hole. Third drop. Frame pops out. Again, we expect that. Not really much I can do about that without making the frames like completely immovable. So far, so clear. There's a couple of little scuffs on the side that I try to showcase, like right here. A couple of scuffs, but no actual damage to the frame. That's really important. There's no cracking or anything. So those are all just like physical scuffs on the outer part. So there's no actual damage to the frame. So then here, that drop that broke it last time, nothing. Much, much better. So then I get a little curious, right? So that's the hole. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just whoop, try it again. Nothing. So then I'm looking at it and I'm like, huh. So then I look over here and I'm like, let me just throw it. And it hit the chair and everything too. Hit the ground, hit the chair. Totally fine. So I did this off camera too because I actually had another one of these. I had one that had a print defect where like a portion of this wall just did not print. I stood on it and it didn't break. Now granted, yeah, I weigh 135 pounds. I'm not exactly the heaviest guy. But still, this resin, everything I've wanted. It is everything I've wanted. Oh man. That's why you run a coil cable on your 75%. All right. For gaming, maybe this is taboo. I don't really know. I don't use a keyboard when I game. I use a Razer Tartarus, or I used to use the Razer Nostromo. I can't play on a keyboard anymore. This thing has completely ruined me. So when I play a game, I'm using these two things. And every time I play a game for the first time, I'm sitting here like, oh, gotta change this button, gotta change that button. But when I'm dialed in, I just don't use a keyboard. The only time I'm ever using a keyboard is to type to somebody, so I keep this on the side. But still, the wired and wireless option, it's just good for all around. Like, options are always good. Uh, Literally everything about the Pico Nav happens when you're at work. I know. I'm so sorry, Duckbill. Your schedule and my schedule just never align. So I'm so sorry. Raise your hand if you ever loved a keyboard. Yeah, backed away from price. So the Pico Nav updates will be on my website for major updates once I do my deep dive video. So when I do the deep dive video, everything is gonna go live. So
The initial landing page is going to be live on there. You'll see some of the product planning stuff. Jesse being Quaco in the chat, he and I are working on a wiki as well. We're making a user manual for everything too. So it's not just going to be on the Discord. A lot of the discussions and stuff that'll happen are going to be in Discord, especially when we do the beta test. But for the big major features, you can find everything on that main landing page. I want to have blog posts and I want to post things like patch notes and things, links to the GitHub, which will eventually happen, not during the beta, but at launch. So probably in like January, February. All of those things are going to be able to be found inside Discord. Fuck, website. Website, not Discord. Well, yeah, both. um, Honestly, when you first saw it, ignoring the name, you thought it was a new shell mod for the Vital bracelet. Oh, the Pico Nav? This thing? Yeah, I mean it's its entirely own thing. I don't blame you. I haven't really heavily marketed this either because one of the big things about the Vital Pet that really burned me was things were too underbaked and we didn't have a lot of things ready and we thought we had more things um, prepared than we truly did. We didn't really have good project management at all because we're three engineers essentially and we don't like doing paperwork or management. And quite frankly, my two partners are very unreliable and it just didn't work out. So with the Pico Nav, I didn't want to show off too many things. I didn't want to promise too many things, and I didn't want to give too many preconceived notions about it. Honestly, I wanted to hide this as long as possible until I made the blunder of accidentally talking about it on Twitter. But I've very carefully planned everything from production planning to the feature set to what I can and cannot do to make sure that when the time comes to talk about this product, it's ready. So the reason you haven't heard me say much about it, I mean, like I've said it exists, I've said what's going on, but I haven't really like sat down to show you guys everything, is because I want to make sure that the systems are done, that all the parts are in place. I got all of my manufacturers that are going to be building the parts ready. I got the parts that I'm going to be making ready. I want to make sure my ducks are in the row, my costs are ready, my product manufacturing timelines are in place. Everything needs to be done before I talk about this thing. And I want to make sure that, like, yes, it's real, it's happening, it's going on. So that's why I haven't really been talking about it. You'll see me talk about this a lot more with more advertising in the next like 2 to 3 months, especially. But it wasn't ready yet. And now we're getting so much closer to the point where I mean, like you can see, I have product boxes. I've got multiple different designs and revisions. I've got like this project planning. Like it's here. Um, and also, most of the feature suite I can show you on screen. Some of the things I just opt not to show you because I want to save it for a video. But like I can show you right now, like the like items work, the stats work, saving data works. Like your deck, your inventory, switching your wardrobe, putting the motherfucker to sleep, all of the settings inside of the options menu all work. So it's not like, oh yeah, there's a pause option too if you want to pause everything. You can like factory reset it, you can power the device off fully. You can see the version. Like everything just works. And that was such a big deal for me that when I show you this, it wasn't just going to be a proof of concept or like this type of thing might happen and blah 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 blah. Like no, these systems are here. They've been thought about, they've been fleshed out, they've been tested. They're here to stay. And of course, like things will change with the user feedback, but the baseline mechanics are all here. Um yeah. How well does a screen hold up against scratches? Eh. So I would say it's very close. So this is just regular old acrylic. It's laser cut acrylic. Um, think of how a screen holds up on a Digimon VPET. It's basically the same. It can and probably will get scratched. Mine, well, okay. I also put mine in my pocket with my keys, but still, mine has a couple of scratches on there. I'm usually really crazy about scratches, and this is not me like defending the product or whatever, but like I don't really care once my screen is on, but you can see scratches. If that does bother you, what you can do is you can take a little pry tool right here when you first get your Pico Nav, pop this guy out. You can pop the screen out, and then if you want to get a piece of plastic and then just cut around the screen and make yourself a screen protector, you can. One of the nice things about one of the nice things about the way I designed everything on the Pico Nav is that it's meant to be user replaceable. So if you want to go in here and then pop the screen back in, there you can't overdo it. There's a tiny little lip, and I don't know if it shows up here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's a tiny, tiny little lip that prevents this thing from being pushed out. So then you can go in here, put your buttons back in, clean your screen because I just spit on my screen like a nasty person. And then here, sorry, I gotta make sure my buttons line up. Pop, pop. So then this gets popped in, this gets popped in, and then you're done. Oh no, I broke something. I broke it. Oh no. I just totally broke it. Is this the old plastic? This is the old one. Jesse, I did this for you, and then I fucking broke it. You guys want to go get the new one? Oh wait, can I show you the new one? Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. I have broken so many of these. If you guys look, can I show you my trash can? My trash can is just Red Bull and Pico nap parts. But these are, let's see if I can get this out. This is everything on a Pico nap. But there's no glue, which is really nice. I guess I can take this out too. Rip, I know. Here, let's go get. I have another part that I printed. Oh wait, I can't show you guys my resin room. So I have this room that looks like a serial killer room. If you guys have ever seen old houses from like 100 years ago, so my house is actually it's 99 years old. Um, there is a room for coal furnaces where people used to just like people in the Midwest and up north just used to store coal. Oh my God. And it's just a concrete room. And when we first moved in here, my concrete room had nothing but a singular light and this really old bench with an angle grinder and nothing else. And it was like old and like fucked up. And it was super creepy. I've since turned that into my resin room, but I don't have a camera or anything to show you guys what it's like in there. So, is there a way? Am I crazy or did you move? I moved in October of last year. So we bought a house downtown in Cincinnati. So that's also why I like my background when well, you guys don't ever get to see my face anymore because I'm a bum. But that's why my background is like a little different and stuff. It's only a little different because I kept the layout very similar. But let me see about getting a new thing. Hold on. Oh, I also didn't start my print. Hold on, I'll be right back.
So I actually had a bunch of shells. So I had two extra spares that I'm messing with, and I think, yeah, these printed fine. But then I have this one. And I don't know if anybody actually gives a fuck about this if your name is not Mystic Toast. There was another question earlier about printing purple ones. I actually have purple ones already. Um, I don't know. So here's the thing. I'm only going to be doing a couple very limited runs of the different color ones. I basically don't want to. Let me throw this one out. I don't want to. Actually, before I throw this one, let me get a feel for this. Like, it's not terrible. These corners. I can feel the corners a little less sturdy than something like this. This one has like just enough flex where it like takes the impact. Like I can kind of bend this a bit more. Um, but I'm only gonna be doing a small limited run of purple, the smoke gray, which is like a kind of like dark kind of well translucent like gray black color, and then maybe the blue if people want them. But I'm not gonna be making a ton of custom colors. It's only gonna be for a limited time. Chuck it. I don't want to chuck. This is the only blue one I have right now. I don't want to chuck this one. Um, I have two other clear ones, like two clear ones of these with the new Conjure resin that I love so much. I will chuck those. Um, but I don't want to chuck these quite yet because I kind of need them. Because right now I don't have anything on my fucking Pico now. Dave is just sitting here dead. Dave is dead. Dave is super dead. Damn, we killed Dave. Dave is back. But yeah, the nice part is a lot of these parts are pretty replaceable, so it's not going to be too bad. I think replacing them for other end users too isn't going to be the end of the world. I do hope though that the uh, the new resins, like this resin, is going to be a little more impact resistant. Um, but we'll see. I've been trying. I looked into getting these parts injection molded, but the quotes I was getting were ridiculous. I was getting people quoting me. Oh, check the broken one. What do you like? Throw it somewhere? My camera. So this is an actual mirrorless camera that's on a mount, so I can't like move anything. Which aren't good for the throat. See that bounce. So I do think there's a portion of which like where it gets impacted. That broke it. I just spiked it. Like I literally took it to the ground and then just like bam, and that did it. So spiking your Pico now will break it. Although what we're gonna do in a bit, I'm gonna get two more of these in the conjure resin. Um, I kind of want to spike one because the durability is something that like I do want to make sure holds up reasonably well. I don't. I acknowledge by the end of the day, resin is resin. I can only do so much, but still making sure that like it can survive a regular drop, I think is going to be important. Just talking about her job. I was like, what is she talking about in this chat? Um, Gotta go, but it was nice chatting with you. Yeah, I'm. Thanks for being here for my, I guess technically second YouTube stream because I messed up the first one. Yeah, the experimentation to me is the fun part. It's the thing I like doing the most, and hopefully, you guys will feel the same way once you get it in your hands and provide some feedback. But yeah, thank you for hanging out. We'll definitely do more of these. I'll try to make sure that throughout the week we'll actually do real work and start sanding and gluing these vital pets, but today is kind of a wash. Hmm. I should probably look in to see what else YouTubers do for their streams. Because like, do people sub and stuff on YouTube? Is that a thing? Should I worry about that? I don't know. Can you get like YouTube emotes like you can on Twitch? Have different colors for a limited time. How many am I thinking of doing? I'm not really sure yet. That's a good question. Um, Truthfully, I was thinking about taking a playbook out of Work Louder's plan and only doing like a very limited quantity. Like honestly, I'm probably gonna do I don't know, I don't want to put a number on it. Um Probably like I don't know. The hard part about that, Jesse, that I still don't know is I don't have a real forecasting on the true demand. So like if I say, let's just say like I'm gonna do 30 purple units or something, and then I find out that I don't know 300 like not 300 like 3,000 people want it or something crazy. I'm like, oh, that doesn't work anymore, and I can print in bulk now. So I'm not sure. It's gonna be a small percentage because I don't want to make too many. Um, but it might just be like I don't know 20 to 50 of them or something like a really small run, and then I'm just gonna make them a separate like reward tier or something. Does the tinted shell affect the LED that much? Not really. Here, let's see. Let's put this in. There are also colored buttons that come with the tinted shells. And I wish I had the smoke gray one to show that it really doesn't affect much, but whatever, purple works. Oh, button got jammed. The other part of this too is that theoretically I'll be doing all the assembly and you guys won't have to touch any of this. But let's pull up, let's go back to the settings because I can always get the RGB going. Options. So this is medium. Pretty much the same. High is obviously absurd. Off is off. This is low. Yeah, every so it looks better even with like the purple buttons, which I guess I could uninstall this and put the purple buttons in. This shit, oh my god. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Let's just do it. Let's just do it and see if this one breaks. This is why we switch resins. So I can avoid situations like this. But it is what it is. So let's do boop, boop. And let's get a... I have a bunch of these that I'm sending to my photographer buddy. The Galaxy Purple one, because this shit goes pretty hard. Like, okay, so I was rocking this config for a little bit. I man, oh, I had the battery on the wrong way. um, I love the way this looked. I love this so much. Like, I'm not a big purple guy. Like, I don't hate purple. Like, it's fine. I loved this so much. I was like, damn, I kind of want to, I kind of want to keep this. But I feel really bad if I never sold this version and then I just started walking around with it. Um, yeah, it's yeah. Um, man, oh, the beta unit's gonna get a different color, get the Veek stamp. Um, so all of them are gonna have the Veek stamp because I'm Vincent Veek and I like branding. I'm sorry, I know some people really hate branding. I think if branding is done tastefully, then it's fine. And full bias because again, this is my product, so of course I'm gonna think it's tasteful. Um, but they're all gonna have that. I'm gonna do either allow for custom colors if the beta testers can group up together and basically present me a case in which I can bulk print them. So if you come back and say, hey, 10 of us want the purple one, or whatever, I'll put up a poll or something. And you guys can pick like whatever translucent color you want. And then as long as there's more than like two or three, I'll let you guys do custom colors. I might, depending on how much of a pain in the ass it is too, I really wanted to have like text on the side or something, so you can have like your own custom text on there, or have a serialized 1 out of 50, 2 out of 50, whichever one you guys like better. I'm kind of open to either idea, but that's definitely something I want to work out and do as well. Because I think it'd be really cool for you to be like, oh yeah, I have a beta unit, and maybe okay, maybe I'm a total psychopath because I have to hand do all of these, but like it'd be really cool to say like Darwin on one side, and then the other side it says like whatever 1 out of 50. Darwin, you're not getting the first one, just so you know. But still, that'd be really cool. I would love. I see. The thing is, I don't know if it's like too much to do both. Like, I have to see what it looks like in practice because, I mean, you saw what the logos were like. How much my battery? Um, like this is incredibly subtle. I think this is super duper subtle. Like, you have to look at it at a specific way. I guess with my regular eyes, you can kind of just see it anywhere. But it's not like in your face. That's it. But I think having this plus like a custom line plus 1 out of whatever, maybe that is gonna be too much. I don't know. Maybe I put the 1 out of 50 here, whatever. I don't know. I'm open to ideas and I'm open for discussion. The beta testers are lucky in that they will get to have a lot of vocal say as to what they think they should do or what they think I should do. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's just I like to just acknowledge my own bias stuff though. Like I know like this is my product, so I don't want to be the asshole that just says, "Oh, well, I made it. I get to do what I want," because I do value everyone's feedback, but also at the same time, like, of course I'm gonna want my fucking logo on there. It's me. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. This one is interesting. The blue, I like. If it were me personally, I'm really okay. I feel an obligation to have to use the clear. Like I have to because I'm representing them, you know? And in the future, when people are looking at PicoNav stuff and I have a PicoNav video I need to do or whatever, and they're like, I want to buy this, and Veek is rocking the smoke gray. Why can't I get gray? And then whatever. And that's fine. I mean, like, I like the initial design. That's why I built it. That's why I made it because I like it. I purposely chose translucent instead of transparent because I think the frosted effect just looks really tight. Um, but dude, some of these colors, man, like this shit was so clean when I first made. I was playing around, and one of my buddies who wanted one was like, "Can you make me an atomic purple, bro? Holy shit!" This blue one though, I'm not too hot over. I mean, Mystic Toes likes it. It's cool. But I wouldn't do this one. I would personally do like the clear with the metallic blue shell or the metallic blue frame, personally. But I don't know. I think this is gonna be really big on customization, in a good way. And also, it's not gonna kill me because when I tell you that these shells are limited run, I mean they are limited run because I hate these bitches. Similar to how I hate Vital Pets and how I hate doing all the custom colors and all the spreadsheets and stuff, I'm not doing that a lot. So I'll do it one time for all the beta testers because A, I have the spare time, and B, they're providing me a lot of extra useful stuff, and they are in theory not going to buy multiple of them. So when I do special campaigns and runs, I want them to feel special. Um, but B, once that's done, it's done, and I'm never doing it again. And I'm gonna stick to these, and then maybe once in a blue moon I'll do special ones or something. But you're almost done with the landing page. You just need to add some text and then have you look at it. Okay, that works. We can probably look at that tomorrow, and I'll start writing some extra stuff in the notes for you too, because I keep your I keep that page open, by the way, Jesse, just to kind of like view it and get a couple of ideas as you're working on things to determine like what I think works and what doesn't work. So putting it on display in your own office would be pretty neat. That's true. That would be really neat. But I don't know. We'll see. Damn, dude. I do like the custom colors. It's really cool. Would I do a copper frame on a copper body for yourself? On a copper body? Hell no. Cause like I think what makes the Pico Nav look really cool. Okay, here is the biggest design challenge that I had when making the Pico Nav. Um, how do I take a board like this with this profile that has buttons way off on the side and make it look dope? How do I make this rectangle look dope? Because you've seen other people use this board before. You've seen maybe this board on a random maker website, and the company Liligo that makes this makes a case for this, and they're all fucking ugly. They're all ugly. So how do I take this and make it look cool? And part of the reason I chose the design I chose was because like the two-tone design like this looked really nice. It was a good contrast. That's also why again I chose translucent. So it doesn't look like just any rectangle. There's a tiny bit of personal flair. And then the buttons, while they're offset, like really far off to the right side at least, they don't feel entirely out of place because of the rest of the design. And doing all of this in such a deliberate way uh, made it such that I don't want this to ever be opaque. I think the moment you turn this shell opaque, it turns into just another rectangle. Um, I've tested it a couple of times. I've done like a pure. I have like a black nylon resin type of thing, and the moment you put on a fully opaque shell, it just becomes a rectangle. And you would say like, okay, yeah, black on black, try different colors. Sure, I tried it in white. It's just a rectangle. I've done simulations because on like Fusion 360 when I'm designing this thing, I can mess with it. The the translucence makes the design. I can't explain. I mean, I guess I can explain why, but like articulating it wouldn't be the best. Um, it's such a big deal to nail that. So I wouldn't personally do a copper on copper. I think it would look kind of stupid. Uh, Maybe I'll do like a smoke gray with this copper shell. And funny enough, I started with this color on Fusion 360. Like I made a copper shell and I thought, or I made a copper frame, and I thought this would be really cool. So I finally got this and I finally polished it. And I gotta say, I don't love it. I thought I would because it's such a simple, clean thing, but something about it just doesn't resonate with me. Like this, it's cool, but it kind of reminds me of like a Bionicle. I don't know why that's where my brain goes, but it's cool. But I really, truthfully, I like yeah, I like my mint. Like this is neat. This is a very Vince color. Like not many people are gonna pick this, and I know that not many people are gonna pick this, but that's just like this is Veek. Um, I also really like the metallic blue, like a lot. This one that I've been rocking a couple of days. I love this one so much. Red looks really good as well. Um, the purple looks pretty cool. Everyone likes gold, of course. Honestly, a lot of these are really cool, but I think especially I really enjoy the red one. Um, kind of funny. I want to do olive drab green with like the smoke gray shell. But again, I don't. I need to stop using the gray shell as a crutch because I will use it as a crutch. I just think that this. So I wear a lot of olive green. Like OD green is my favorite color to wear, but like this with like a gray black shell, that would go so hard. Um, so yeah. But right now, my two personal favorites, obviously mint. Um, the actually this metallic blue I like so much that the ones on the side over here, these are my personal ones. I was testing some stuff. I tried polishing the neon green. I hate this one by the way, but like I tried polishing it to make it even more translucent, just to or transparent, just to be funny. I hate it. I hate it even more. So I'm gonna throw that one away. Actually, I'll do it now. Fuck this one. But getting rid of that one. The gold, I was just testing different styles and then comparing the gold to the brass. The brass goes, look how shiny that is, man. I polished one of these two and it didn't look that good. But this brass with the actual like brass filling inside, like the metal flakes, this goes so hard. I thought about giving out a couple of these as like a gift because they're just cool. But I don't know how many people would want that. Um, I just think this goes so hard. Like I thought about making a reward tier called Top Brass and then giving out a couple of these, but not sure. Because polishing this sucks. Polishing this thing's a bitch. So I don't want. I'm not gonna make that a standard offering. Pretty much ever. You truly love your glitter purple and bubblegum pink Vital Pet. That's a good combo. I like that. I think to some extent there's so many square black devices or just square products. Yeah, for sure. Um, and I mean like to be fair, I make squares. like square. It's just this square has angles. This square has rounded corners in a two-tone design. Like I just find really creative ways to make squares look less like squares. Um, you want a brass to go with your ruby brass vital pet? That would be really cool. There's no way in hell. So Dank Oni, you haven't seen me make. Maybe you have on Twitch. But today I'm still printing a bunch of stuff. But making a vital pet and the sheer amount of sanding and fitting and cursing that I do will drive me insane. And to spend an extra half an hour on what probably already is like a 1 to 2 hour project per vital pet is not happening. Because I have a pack I bought this on Amazon like recently of polishing, like these are just polishing papers. There are one, two, three, four, five, six different grits that I go through. And you can see like kind of like the copper on the sides over here. They kind of like just ran through them over and over and over. Um, but yeah, like it takes too fucking long. But I think it'd be really cool to give out to some people. Um, and it's not like perfect. Like this is very much brass. Like it's not full gold or anything. Like if this were a little more yellow and a little bit brighter, it would be gold. But it's very, very like you can tell it's brass. And in certain lights, it does look golden. Um, but I'm in love with this thing. I love it so much. Not sure what you got planned for tomorrow. You think you're gonna go to LA with some homies to watch a sumo fight? What the hell? That's tight. Um, I mean, Jesse, like I said, we got time for the user manual, so like don't pressure yourself. That big thing is the landing page. So, what printers do I use for the FDM prints? I use Prusa Minis. Got four of them, and I want to replace them, but I'm slowing down on FDM prints, and I think I'll be doing a lot less FDM in the future. For these frames, they're like 7-minute prints, so they don't really matter, and they're pretty inconsequential. But for like Vital Pets, they're taking a toll, both on my printers and on my mentality. I'm losing my mind. So I know a lot of people hate resin, but I think I've found a workflow with resin that just makes a lot more sense for me personally. Um, so I would kind of want to continue with that. And there's some couple things I can still optimize, but yeah. What would I replace them with? Like if I had to continue using FDM or just in general? I think I'm always gonna have FDM printers because I like the sheer value of FDM for prototyping and for niche applications is just it can't be replicated. So I think I'd always keep them. Um, if it were me personally, and like I didn't have to own a print farm or anything, and I don't really own a print farm, but you know I run this business. And all of my printers have like several thousand hours apiece on them. Like I think they're approaching like 4,000 hours each printer. Um, I would if it were for me personally, I'd probably get like a Bamboo P1P. But I don't even know if I would want that because if it's personal, I'm not going to use it like crazy. So I might just stick with another Prusa Mini. Um, Prusa Minis for me have a really good price to performance value. Like they're $500 a piece, which like a Prusa Mark IV is what like $1,100 or something close to that 1,000 or 11. You can buy two Prusa Minis for that price. The P1P is I forgot how much that thing is. Uh, Bamboo Lab. No, I'm not typing. Bamboo Lab. Because that's their value one. Because like their X1 Carbon is like $1,100 or some shit. Um, the P1P is $600, which is pretty good still. Um, my biggest reason that I wouldn't get a P1P still, even though at that price point, is strictly for the fact that there's no heated whatchamacallit, no heated enclosure. And I'm sure you could like they strip down a bunch of things, so you can add a heated enclosure. But the fact of the matter is that my printers are still working. And while I don't doubt that these printers aren't incredible, there's no need for them for me. In the future, I want to get away from making all my stuff in FDM overall. I think if you've ever seen or held one of my prints, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the thought and the consideration I've had in these is pretty good, all things considered. Like you know, for an FDM 3D print, like the quality of these is hard to match, and it's not just because of my printers, but also because of like the work I put into it. And Drauk, I know they sell enclosure kits, but at that point, I'm getting the $750 mark for, in my opinion, what is not that justifiable in quality for a market that I don't really want to stay in for too long when I already have four serviceable printers. Like it would be different if this were in a magical ideal world, if this were, let's just say 2021, I just started my business and the P1P just happened to exist at that time or something, right? Like then, yeah, I would totally invest in that because that makes a lot of sense because I know I'm going to put thousands of hours into them. But like I don't want to put another 4,000 hours into printers. And that kind of changes the equation a little bit. I'm not saying it's not a good value, and I'm not saying that these are not good printers because they are. Um, but at the time, and even today, the Prusa Minis still serve me very well. Um, and none of them are ever like none of them are really broken. If any of my printers also do break or go down, like I'm spending like $5 to $20 to like update them, and it's just like the cost is not justifiable for me to buy a new printer. So, uh, so Drauk, I unfortunately I think the issue with my prints in the way that I've built them out because of all of my sharp internal angles, like here and here. There's a there's a concept in CNC and subtractive manufacturing called kerf and like your kerf radius and your kerf diameters. And that's basically like as you are taking a drill bit or a tool, and you take a tool and you start cutting, if you want to make a perfect angle, like if you were to zoom in on this tip, like really, really, really zoomed in on it, it's basically a circle, right? Like it's a very large circle or a very small circle, but it's still a circle. Like let's just assume that this is the tip of your blade of a CNC router or even a laser. If you want to cut a perfect square, you cannot use this circle to cut a perfect square normally, because if you do, you got to use the edge of the radius to cut a square or something, right? Makes total sense. Sure. But what happens if you wanted to cut the inside of a part? Like, what happens if this, I don't have any perfect squares inside of here. Like here. This here is not a perfect rectangle. If I wanted to cut this with this giant tool, right, there's going to be this kind of like circular pattern over because this is also not a perfect square. That happens in CNC manufacturing. Similarly, in 3D printing, that concept applies where no matter how small, unless I'm using like a point 0.1 or a point 0.2 diameter nozzle, by the end of the day, the prints that I make for something like the logo or the little triangle, like these things, are never going to be perfectly pointed, and I'm always going to have to sand them pretty much no matter what, even if I use something like a really well-tuned FDM 3D printer. And it's because I'm a dumbass and I didn't think about that when I was making these. That's actually like one of my biggest regrets. It's not necessarily like the printer quality, it's the printer limitations. And that is more about just general physics and just the overall nature of any kind of additive or subtractive manufacturing with G codes. Um, could I take a 0.2 millimeter nozzle and then print all of these parts and even potentially dedicate a whole printer with a 0.2 nozzle and then do all of this stuff? Yeah, maybe. Do I want to do that? No, not at all. So the solution is to come up with a better design. So I think somewhere in 2024, I want to make a revised Vital Pet. I've already done like a revision for um, the Vital Watch, and I used the different materials. So this is made out of um, multi-jet fusion nylon, so it's PA12, and this thing is like impact, chemical resistant, like scratch resistant, all that. And I want to do something similar with the Vital Pet, but I haven't started. It's not on the top of my agenda. I have other projects that I want to do. So like I have the infamous never going to get done spellbook deck box that I have for all the magic cards and stuff. So I have this that needs to get done. There have been some, obviously, all of the PicoNav and PicoNav accessories. There have been some chatters in the background about doing some custom mods for like Nerf guns and shit. That might happen, but yeah, there's a whole thing. I said this earlier, but like I come from a world of programming and development for CNC lasers and CNC routers, punch machines, that type of thing. So I know that there are a lot of really cool applications, and I understand that in this day and age, there are, in fact, better 3D printers than what I have today. But price to performance ratios and also just my lack of use for them in 2024 just means that I'm probably not going to pick one up. I just want to build toys for fun. I do. I want to build toys for fun and for business. That's what I want to do. I really want to make custom Nerf guns like really bad. Like really, really bad. Oh, Christ. I want to get into custom airsoft guns too, but airsoft, I just have such a weird stance on the hobby in this day and age that like I kind of don't want to get involved anymore. I used to be really big into it. I've talked about this before, but I don't think I don't know if I want to branch out to that and have my brand associated with that. Yeah, one day we'll get that deck box. I've been so I've been reaching out to several different manufacturers too because I'm working out like the packaging box and stuff. And while doing this, I'm simultaneously looking for like, hey, do you guys build custom boxes? And then the same conversation happens over and over. I explain the design, and they're like, "Yeah, we can do that." And then I even had a couple of companies test it. They've sent me samples of certain things, and then they build it, and I'm like, "Hey, this isn't up to spec. I need this to look like that. I need that to be this material." And then they're like, "We can't do this." And it happens every time. And I'm sitting here thinking, "This idea is gold. It's gold." But I can't find the right partner. And I don't want to have to manufacture it myself because I think I can get a higher quality from somebody who specializes in box manufacturing and not me. But like, make no mistake, I have fun playing airsoft. It's a really good time. I just don't like, for lack of a better term, I'll just say I don't like the state of America. Just leave it at that. Let me check on my other print. Let me check on these things because I have them drying right now, and once they're dried, they need to cure for 2 minutes. So give me a second. Ooh. Okay. These parts look solid, and I'm really upset that I'm considering just like chucking one on the floor and spiking it and seeing if it breaks because it's gonna hurt my soul. It's gonna hurt my soul. Oh God. You were thinking about making a deck box playmat using an old suitcase for your new Capenna deck? I love that. You just roll up in a fucking like suit and a fedora, and they're gonna think, "Oh my God, this fucking fedora wedding sweaty neckbeard," and then you pull up to your LGS, you open the suitcase, and it's a new Capenna deck, and then they're like, "Fuck, I don't know if I hate this guy or not."
See, Duckbill, I keep a rule where I don't carry more than like at max 3 decks. Like what I do is this. That's not true. I lied. I take it back. 4. So when I go to events, all of my decks are in like the Ultimate Guard boulders. So this is the Dragon Shield Nest. This thing fits 3 boulders. So take a boulder. Obviously, it goes up to 3. I'm gonna pop this in. Oops, wrong one. Uh, so one of these, and then so I can have 3 of these. This goes in my backpack, and then my dice and everything go in the backpack. And then Galazeth goes with me everywhere because it's Galazeth, and I like this deck box. If I'm playing with 2 decks, I have this, and this is my old deck box that I use, and right now it's holding all of my Vital Pet cards. Um, but this is a little modified thing that I made one day when I was bored, but you pull your deck up like this. So I have 2 decks that I just keep in here. So easy, slim, that's what I use. Anything else past that, I ask myself, what the fuck am I doing? I also have like way too many boxes. I just have so many boxes and containers. I'm just I know what's also gonna happen too is when my spellbook deck box goes live, I'm just gonna make like 20 of them, and then I my like bookshelf that I have there that's just full of Magic decks and playing cards are gonna just turn into a library. Unfortunately, you have 4 commander decks with 5 now with Doctor Who, 3 modern decks with Token Box, and like 2 just random decks. Can't. I I'm such a specialist that like I will carry my one Pioneer deck and my favorite Is It Commander deck, and then some bullshit when people get pissed off that I'm playing my favorite Is It Commander deck. And that's it. I'm done. Super Smash Bros. Player control spike it? Nah. Man, we'll see. I'm so nervous. You have an Ultimate Guard Smart Hive for 2 modern decks, 2 commander decks. You go, yeah. I mean, see that makes sense if you go to like an event or something, but I just I just don't find myself going to those anymore. And part of that is because I just want to work on the Pico and never play Valorant or both. But also another part of that is like Magic is just kind of like losing me. I still again like I still love it. I'm still a fan. I still follow it, but like my desire to play is at honestly probably an all-time low right now. Like every time I try to like go because I keep telling myself I need to brew some new decks and like I want to play Pioneer again when because Khans of Tarkir is coming out for Arena on the 12th of December, I think. And I can finally play Is It Phoenix, even though Is It Phoenix isn't at its best right now. But then, but then I look at the state of Magic and I'm like, I don't really want to play. Wow.
that show up on camera? Not really. So, I mean, kinda. Wow, that's incredible. So, hard to show it really, but these are less yellow than these. And also, a thing about resin prints is that when you first cure them, they're at their most yellow, and they get less yellow over time until they get exposed to more like sunlight and stuff like that. But like they're basically like cooling off of an oven essentially, and you know they shrink it a very tiny bit, and eventually like the yellowing goes away. But right off the bat, these are already way more clear, like way more clear. Um, like way more clear, and they feel amazing. And the print quality of these is sick. Um, I kind of love these. I'm gonna be honest with you. Wow, that's wow. This might be one of, if not my actual best prints. Oh my god. I don't want to smash this. I don't want to break this. You guys, I love this. These are incredible. Like I'm genuinely impressed. All right. Let's do it. Where's the dead board? Dead board, battery. This one is the old one. I'm not going to put in the buttons for the sake of having to find them when this thing explodes. I think that's fair. This is my frame. I want to use. It's this one. All right, I'm gonna post this. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Put it on Discord, make a video of it? I can't show you guys right now because, well, my camera. Where's my cat? I don't want to scare her. Wills? Wills? Hello? You here? Okay. The cat is gone. I'm behind my desk. God, dude, this hurts my soul. Where's my phone? Oh boy. Well, that shattered. So this was the not so. This was the old thing. I spiked it. It shattered into 3 pieces. So now we take one of these. I don't want to spike this, you guys. It's gonna break anyway. But this quality is so good. This quality is so good, dude. What the fuck? Like, I impressed myself. Holy. I have more printing. I can make an infinite amount of these, but it still doesn't make it hurt any less. Alright. I feel like I'm loading a bomb right now, by the way. So sorry. So sorry, Pico Nav Shell. Oh my god, it's perfect. It's perfect. You're trolling me. I gotta I don't wanna do this. Oh fuck. Alright, alright. Where's my? All right. So that one broke too. However, this one broke like that, but it did break. So, in conclusion, you cannot spike these. Don't spike these. Wow, that broke my heart. Where did this other piece go? I can't find the others. Oh, that was painful. I never want to do that again. I will still be drop testing these because I do need to. I mean, this one I've drop tested already, and it seemed to do pretty well. Um, I need to do another test of like I popped in these frames like a lot, so I'm kind of surprised that my unit actually cracked. Um, so I'm really curious to see what this new resin does. I don't know if I should just do it over and over and over again and then see how long it takes to crack. In reality, though, I can't think of a situation in which a user would actually remove their unit. But still, it's important to know how durable these shells are or are not. I wish I can get these things tooled and it didn't cost me $10,000. But unfortunately, I don't think injection molding is happening. Damn, dude. I'm putting this back together. I've impressed myself with this print quality. There is a really slight thing that I want to try with the print quality, specifically on the sides, that I might mess with in the next couple of days. I might go to Blender and do something kind of silly, but we'll see. That hurt. Oh my god, that hurt. Does anyone know a person named Nelson Contreras, and do they know why they're trying to connect with me on LinkedIn? Do I know you, person? I need to actually update my photo on LinkedIn. I took a picture of me recently. My LinkedIn picture, I think I was 21. That was 7 years ago. I took a photo that was in my wife at the time girlfriend's apartment. It's so old. Oh, this is not my frame. This is my frame. I was like, why is there an X on this one? It's because I damaged it because I kept throwing it on the floor. Crack, please. I'm so paranoid now. That looked totally fine. I'm so paranoid now. But dude, this is so clear. That's insane. I want to mess with the side quality a little bit. I'm gonna add some
texturing to the sides to make it like this sandblasted effect like I have on the bottom here. So that's going to be my project for later. You know, I put the white on for Jesse. I'm tired of this. I did that just to make you happy, Jesse. Now that I now that I've got this and I've moved on, I'm gonna go back to my color. Ooh, but I could do brass. Nah, no, let's just. I haven't rocked mint in a while, so let's just do mint. Okay. Chat room. It's 1 a.m. My printers are all in a good place. Gonna go to bed. Tomorrow evening, after I get back. Well, okay. Let me rephrase this. Tomorrow evening, if I'm not drunk off my ass, because that is potentially possible, because I can't say no to a guy who just got engaged if he wants me to drink. And he likes to drink. So we'll see how things go. But tomorrow, um, if I'm around, then we'll stream. We'll do actual work on actual Vital Pets. I'm sure people are gonna have more questions about the Pico Nav. This sounds like quitter talk. We'll see. I don't drink, dude. Like that's not my thing. Last time, oh my god. So last time I had okay, two of my best friends, they just really love fucking drinking. Um, but last time we got really tipsy, not like drunk, but we got super tipsy. And my buddy was like, "Hey, I'm trying to watch you play drunk Valorant." And I'm like, "All right, bet." Worst mistake of my fucking life. Worst mistake. So never again. Um, anywho, Dave is back and operational. I need to stick to one frame and test it and like, kind of smack it around for a while. But I think this frame might be the one, to be honest with you. The material feels really good. I need to, well, maybe not this exact one because I need to get some texturing on the sides instead of this like line type of thing. Strong ass sound. That's right. I forgot. I put it in the Discord. Anyways, um, I will see you all probably tomorrow. You can't get drunk if all your homies smoke weed. That is not true because my boy who is proposing is a crazy smoker and he also drinks. So I wish that were true, but it's not. Um, anyways, I will probably see you guys tomorrow. And if not, I will definitely see you guys on Thursday. We're going to work on Vital Pets, and we're going to strictly work on Vital Pets, and you guys are going to keep me focused. And then maybe we'll do some Pico Nav stuff on the side. Dave getting the Pico Nav. Dave is back in the Pico Nav. I'm curious though, before I leave, last question, and this is Pico Nav related. What do you guys think about naming your Pico? Do you think it would be cool to have the name on the bottom down here when you're in idle? So one thing about this is that I kind of use the blank floor as an indicator that nothing's going on. So like, if I click on this, it says inventory. Well, here. Right? And then if you press and hold the A button, you go back. So now it's blank. So that's like by design. Do you think having a name there would be cool or irrelevant? He definitely won't be here next week. Modern Warfare. Nah, that's Dave. Yeah, whatever. Um, well, next I'm not talking. I'm talking about like tomorrow and the day after, unless Modern Warfare comes out like tomorrow and the day after. The following week, though, yeah, I'm probably going to be keeping to myself because right now I am at the point where I need to sit down and really focus on the last two things I need to code. Like I for the PicoNav update tool for the Peanut, um, I need to sit down and focus and do some like stress testing and stuff. And I can't have an audience because you guys are going to distract me and it's going to get really annoying for me because I'm an idiot. Um, however, when we start building content and we can have discussions, that's when I want to do more streams. But right now, when I work on the PicoNav, a lot of it is just kind of in private because I do need to focus. And well, unlike the Vital Pets where they are kind of like brain dead work. Like I'm gluing and sanding. I don't need to use my brain. I don't need to think. I do need to think right now for the Pico Nav, at least at current. So it'd be cool to have it as an option. 50-50. What if someone puts a bad name, but maybe you can just have it? So yeah, but then I think to myself like that doesn't stop people in like Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like people do that with Pokemon. At least pre-online era. I don't know. Something to think about. But for now, it's not there. We'll have discussions. Have a good night, everyone. I will see you guys. Wait. Please let let users name them. Uh, yeah, we'll have a discussion. Nicknames would be cool. All right, whatever. I'm going to bed. Good night, friends.